Chapter 150. In the void, the atmosphere was tense to the extreme. Everyone was watching attentively. They were extremely curious. Was the battle between the Holy Sun going to start early? Logically speaking, the saints would not casually exchange blows with each other. The Holy Sun represented the face of a holy land. If the Holy Sun of a holy land lost, it meant that the current Holy Sun of the Holy Land was not good enough. The Holy Sun was important to the entire Holy Land. He was extremely important. He might inherit the position of Holy Master in the future. How could he be a mediocre person? Losing early. It was very likely that the upper echelons of the Holy Land would be dissatisfied. Thus, the Holy Sun's position would be abolished. No one expected this. The Xianyuan Supreme Relic hadn't opened yet, but the battle between the Holy Sun was going to start early? Moreover, after this scene, everyone had new thoughts about the Holy Sun of Haotian. This Holy Sun of Haotian was much stronger and more powerful than the rumors said. Boom. Long Dongbua slowly walked out, and a green lotus bloomed in his hand. An incomparably vast aura swept out in all directions. Feeling this aura, everyone was terrified and hurriedly retreated a few miles. They were afraid that they would be affected by the aftermath. Holy Sun of Haotian, Holy Sun of Dongbua, please stop. Just as Long Dongbua was about to make his move, a voice rang out. The person who came was actually Fang Shilong, a direct disciple of the Wavering Light Sacred Land. Because of the death of his elder brother, Fang Xiu, he was now the #1 direct disciple of the Wavering Light Sacred Land. However, with his strength, he was undoubtedly overestimating himself if he thought that he could interfere in the battle between the two Holy Sun. I'm here on the orders of my Holy Sun to remind the two of you that the Supreme Relic is about to open. I hope the two of you can stop. Fang Shilong's posture was very humble, and his face was full of smiles. At this moment, he represented the Holy Sun of the Wavering Light Sacred Land. He represented the Holy Sun of the Wavering Light Sacred Land. The Holy Sun of Dongbua, Long Dongbua's expression didn't change at all when he heard this. The killing intent on his body was still extremely sharp. Obviously, he hadn't changed his mind because of the light-shaking Holy Sun's words. Holy Sun of Dongbua, please give my Holy Sun some face. When the time comes, you'll have plenty of opportunities to make your move in the Sovereign Ruins. Seeing that the Holy Sun was still preparing to attack, Fang Shilong transmitted his voice to Long Dongbua. He still had to give face to the Holy Sun. The Holy Sun nodded and looked at Jun Haotian. 30,000 years ago, a Holy Sun from your Langya Holy Land fell in the Supreme Relic. 30,000 years later, it will still be the same. After saying this, Dongbo Holy Sun directly returned to his own place and did not attack Jun Haotian again. Died here? I have no intention of letting you all leave here alive. Looking at Long Dongbua's back as he left, Jun Haotian's eyes flashed with a cold light. Since Long Dongbua didn't plan to attack, Jun Haotian didn't want to start a fight in public. Even if he defeated Long Dongbua, it wouldn't be good to kill him directly. After all, Long Dongbua was the Holy Sun. Killing him would be troublesome. Therefore it was best to fight in the Supreme Relic. Thinking of this, Jun Haotian prepared to leave. But at this moment, Fang Shilong's voice sounded. Holy Sun of Haotian, my Holy Sun also said that he hopes to have a showdown with you in the Supreme Relic. Fang Shilong didn't hide his words at all and announced it openly. When the people below heard this, they were all shocked. The Holy Sun of Haotian was actually so arrogant. Not only did he offend Dongbo Holy Sun, but he also offended the Alcade Holy Sun at the same time. No matter how strong the Holy Sun of Haotian was, it was impossible for him to face the attacks of two Holy Suns at the same time. Seeing this scene, Jun Moyo and Feng Xiaoyao couldn't help but frown. This situation seemed to be very unfavorable for the Holy Sun. When Jun Haotian heard Fang Shilong's words, he slowly looked at him and said softly, "Is your big brother called Fang Xiu?" Hearing this, Fang Shilong's figure suddenly stopped. Jun Haotian's face showed a trace of ridicule. "Well, your big brother is really weak. He died without even taking a punch." When these words came out, everyone could see that Fang Shilong's body suddenly trembled. When the people below heard Jun Haotian's words, they suddenly felt a chill in their hearts. The Holy Sun of Haotian really didn't want to suffer any losses. He directly opened other people's scars. This was too offensive. Holy Sun of Haotian, you must be joking. The winner takes all. After saying this coldly, Fang Shilong left the place directly. At this moment, Fang Shilong swore in his heart. In the ruins of Xianyuan Supreme, he must make this so-called Holy Sun of Haotian die without a burial place. Seeing the murderous intent exuding from Fang Shilong's body, Jun Haoyin smiled. He clearly wanted to kill him, but he didn't dare to make a move. With such a temperament, how could he cultivate the supreme martial Tao? Holy Sun. At this moment, Feng Xiaoyao and the others came forward with a worried look on their faces. Obviously they were worried about Long Dong Bo and the Holy Son of Alcade. Don't worry, even if the two of them join forces, I'm not afraid. Jun Haoyin directly waved his hand. He naturally knew what Feng Xiaoyao and the others were worried about. After saying this, Jun Haoyin's figure flashed and directly returned to the jade carriage. Haoyin Holy Sun and Dong Bo Holy Son of Haoyin didn't fight. Everyone below heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, these two gods didn't fight. Otherwise, many unlucky people would have suffered. Then the atmosphere returned to calm. Everyone was waiting quietly for the ruins to open. At this moment in the golden jade carriage, Jun Haoyin sat cross-legged, and there were strands of heaven and earth essence chi around him. There were many exquisite formations set up in the golden jade carriage. In terms of cultivation effect, it wasn't inferior to the cultivation hall of Haoyin Divine Palace at all. However, Jun Haoyin didn't choose to improve besides adapting to his own strength. After the Imperial Tao realm, cultivation isn't just about sufficient energy. It also requires comprehension of heaven and earth. Unfortunately, I'm blank in this aspect. Jun Haoyin muttered to himself. By relying on the past Amitabha Sutra, Jun Haoyin's soul had become extremely strong. But just this alone wasn't enough for him to comprehend heaven and earth. Cultivation in the Imperial Tao realm wasn't simple. It required the soul, energy, and comprehension. Not a single one of these could be lacking. The first two weren't difficult for Jun Haoyin, but the last one required comprehension. Jun Haoyin was in a slightly difficult position. I hope this sovereign ruins will be helpful to me. After that, Jun Haoyin discarded the distracting thoughts in his heart and started to concentrate on cultivating the past Amitabha Sutra. This supreme soul refinement technique was sufficiently formidable. However, at this moment, Jun Haoyin had already added his own comprehension into it. The soul in the Sea of Souls didn't look like a Buddha any longer. It was an emperor that sat on a throne in the sky. The appearance of this emperor was actually exactly the same as Jun Haoyin. This was the direction of Jun Haoyin's cultivation. He didn't believe in Buddhism, respect immortals, or worship gods. He only respected heaven and earth and only believed in himself. Therefore, this divine soul emperor was himself. It didn't need to be anyone else. It was precisely because of this that Jun Haoyin underwent a subtle change when he cultivated the past Amitabha Sutra. Right now, he was constantly exuding a domineering aura. He was really like an emperor sitting high in the sky, suppressing heaven and earth. However, there was still a long way to go for Jun Haoyin to reach the supreme realm. But he was confident that as long as he continued to move forward, he would eventually be able to reach the supreme realm. Rumble. Right at this moment, a rumbling sound appeared in the sky. A vast aura spread out. A peerless and invincible aura spread out, causing all things to be destroyed. This aura was too terrifying and it surpassed everything. As for Jun Haoyin, he had only sensed it on Langya Zizi when he received the 9 Holy Sun imprints. He directly walked out of the jade carriage. Not far away the void fluctuated. It was boundlessly terrifying. Supreme Xuanyuan's ruins had been opened. Chapter 151. At this moment, the world was in turmoil. Everyone's eyes were focused on the spatial fluctuations. Thinking that the relic was about to open, everyone's eyes were shining with excitement. This was the supreme relic. It could only be opened once every 10,000 years. It was definitely an opportunity that could only be encountered by chance. In the martial god continent, only supreme experts who had reached the immortal realm could live for 10,000 years. Those below the immortal realm would slowly die of old age in just a few thousand years. They wouldn't have the chance to wait until the next supreme relic opened. Therefore, for everyone present, this was very likely to be their only chance. Even the saintesses of the various sacred grounds and the Holy Sun were no exception. They all appeared and watched the changes in the world. Rumble. A terrifying aura shook the void, constantly erupting with powerful pressure. Thousands of miles of clouds gathered in the void, and purple thunder exploded from time to time. Endless light exploded as if it was going to pierce through the eyes. Buzz. At this moment, a shocking rumble sounded from the void. Jun Haoyin narrowed his eyes slightly and looked forward. There, a huge bronze door that was tens of thousands of feet tall slowly appeared from the void. On the huge bronze door, ancient words were carved. At this moment, the huge bronze door was open. Inside the ancient door, there was a vast aura gushing out. It was as if there was a vast world inside. It stood on this wasteland as if it was telling a long story. And on the door, two ancient characters were carved. Shenyuan. If one wanted to enter the Shenyuan Supreme Relic, they should enter through this door. After this huge bronze door appeared, everyone present was excited and eager to give it a try. But no one took the lead to move. It was because there was a thick fog in front of the huge bronze door. This thick fog exuded a dangerous aura. Everyone was waiting quietly. After about half an hour, the thick fog surrounding the huge bronze door finally dissipated. Boom. At this moment, countless air-piercing sounds sounded in the void. In the direction of the Kunlun sacred land, the huge sun-moon destroyer suddenly disappeared. Only hundreds of streams of light were left rushing toward the huge bronze door. After the thick fog dissipated, the Supreme Relic was completely opened. Let's go. The Supreme Being's relic has opened. The treasures inside are all mine. I want to become a man above all others. Haha, the relic that only opens once every 10,000 years has finally arrived. Countless people roared as they turned into streaks of light and rushed in. However, when a portion of the people rushed through the bronze gate, beams of golden light suddenly shot out from within. The golden light pierced through their bodies, killing them on the spot. Clearly, these people were over 200 years old. He wanted to fish in troubled waters. Idiot. Seeing this, Zhuozhongtong, the holy son of Luotian Holy Land, sneered and slowly stepped into the bronze gate. At this moment, all the forces were moving towards the giant bronze gate. Xiang Holy Sun did the same and led his people through the door. Jun Haoyin and the others naturally wouldn't stay behind and led the group out. Before entering the giant bronze door, he instructed everyone. After entering the ruins, the most important task was to stay alive. A short moment later, everyone under the age of 200 entered the ruins. After stepping through the bronze gate, Jun Haoyin felt the space around him turn upside down, and then he discovered that he had arrived in another world. The world within the Shenyuan Supreme Relic was vast and boundless. Here, countless powerful and chaotic origin chi were constantly fluctuating. The blood-red gales here were like sharp blades that could easily cut through the bodies of true energy realm cultivators. Jun Haoyin circulated the origin chi within his body and enveloped himself to avoid coming into contact with the chaotic origin chi around him. No matter how powerful the blood-red gales were, they couldn't approach him at all. According to the ancient records, Shenyuan Supreme Relic was a formation grandmaster. The ruins he left behind definitely have countless grand formations set up. Jun Haoyin spoke slowly as he looked at everything around him. This time he had two goals for entering the Sovereign's Relic. The first was to search for some fortuitous encounters that could help him break through into the Imperial Dao realm. The second was to follow the orders of the Holy Lord of Langya, Tao Xian, to search for the remains of the Holy Son of Langya, Bai Minghan, who'd perished 30,000 years ago. At this moment, all he could see around him was a stretch of desolation. He didn't even see a single building. Presumably, the others had encountered similar circumstances as he had. However, all of this wasn't a problem for Jun Haoyin. He directly took a step forward, and in an instant the sun and moon seemed to have turned upside down. This was a teleportation technique that could instantly traverse 500 kilometers. However, Jun Haoyin noticed to his surprise that he was actually still within this barren expanse after he executed the teleportation technique. Looks like I've fallen into a formation. Jun Haoyin came to an understanding. Since it was a formation, then there was naturally a core of the formation. So long as he broke through the core of the formation, then he would be able to leave this place. When he thought up to here, Jun Haoyin directly released the energy of his soul. Boom. The entire heavens and the earth seemed to be beneath his feet. Blood-red gales, the boundless heavens and the earth and every grain of sand. Everything was extremely clear. There's someone here. Right at this moment, Jun Haoyin actually sensed an extremely formidable aura. In the next moment, Jun Haoyin didn't hesitate to move swiftly towards the source of the aura. This was a completely different place from before, and it was filled with jagged rocks of strange shapes. Each blood-colored boulder was as big as a mountain. Moreover, these rocks were arranged in a rather strange manner, and they seemed like the core of a formation. The core of the formation should be here. A white-clothed young woman stood slowly outside the grand formation. The young woman floated in midair while her long hair fluttered in the wind. Her peerlessly beautiful face was like the most perfect work of art carved by the heavens. Merely standing there made her seem like a celestial maiden that had descended to the mortal world. It was just that she looked too cold and distant, keeping people 1,000 miles away. Such a woman was rarely seen in the entire eastern wilderness. At this moment, the young woman held a sword in her hand, and it emanated extremely sharp sword intent. This sword was actually a top-grade magic artifact. Without any hesitation, a terrifying and resolute aura erupted from her body. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying aura of the Imperial Tao realm emanated from her, and she seemed like a goddess that had descended. A moment later, she slowly stepped into the grand formation. What's going on? A short moment later, the young woman's red lips parted slightly and she frowned slightly. What she expected didn't occur. Could it be that this isn't the core of the formation? Right at this moment, the entire grand formation started to tremble violently. A few thousand rocks exploded apart, and then numerous figures that seemed like evil spirits walked out from within. Every single one of them emanated the aura of the Imperial Tao realm. Shit. We've been tricked. The young woman's expression changed slightly. She'd underestimated the grand formation. A moment later she intended to leave. However, the grand formation had been activated, so it was difficult for her to leave. Right at this moment, a young man suddenly appeared and drew the young woman's attention. A good chance. No one hesitated at all. The young woman's sword trembled slightly. It directly activated the grand formation beneath the young man's feet. The young man was naturally Jun Haotian. As soon as he appeared, a ray of sword light charged beneath his feet. After that, a few hundred rocks exploded, and a few dozen strands of evil aura charged out. She's actually trying to divert the calamity. Chapter 152. As soon as he stepped foot into this place, Jun Haotian was stunned. He immediately looked towards those evil figures, and there wasn't a trace of panic on his face. When Jun Haotian saw those evil figures clearly, he was shocked to discover that they were all mummified existences. Even though these mummified corpses were covered in blood, the clothes they wore were clearly discernible. Jun Haotian was able to discern their origins. There were members of the Wavering Light Holy Land, All Heaven Holy Land, and the Yin-Yang sect amongst these mummified corpses. Now they're all dead. Jun Haotian guessed in his heart. These mummified corpses should be the ancestors of the various holy lands that had entered the sovereign's ruins. They'd perished after entering the ruins, and then their bodies had been controlled by the formations within the ruins. At this moment they'd completely lost their consciousness, and only their bodies were left with the intent to kill. Sovereign Shen Yuan was an influential figure from hundreds of thousands of years ago, and these ruins had existed for hundreds of thousands of years as well. During this period of time, countless ancestors of the human race had died in these ruins. Moreover, all of them had become a part of the ruins. Jun Haotian naturally wouldn't hold back when he saw these mummified corpses. In the next moment he activated his saint physique, and violent golden blood instantly surged around him while an ocean of essence swept towards the surroundings. After that, Jun Haotian circulated the strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant. This supreme cultivation technique could suppress hell forever and dispel all evil. Even though these mummified corpses were at the Emperor realm, their strength came from the formation. Jun Haotian unleashed his full strength, and these mummified corpses were unable to resist at all and exploded into pieces. However, to Jun Haotian's surprise, after these mummified corpses exploded, the blood and qi that filled the air would converge once more. It was simply impossible to kill them all. Jun Haotian couldn't help but frown slightly when he saw this scene. Holy Sun Haotian, the Moon Phoenix is eternally grateful for your help today. Right at this moment, a clear and cold voice sounded out. It was the white-clothed young woman who'd lured Jun Haotian into the formation earlier. The young woman's strength was formidable as well. Even though she had over 100 Emperor Realm corpses by her side, they still couldn't approach her. Rumor has it that the Jade Lake Saintess, Guyue Huang, is the #1 goddess in the Eastern Barren Territory. Now that I've seen you today, you're only SOSO? How can such a despicable act deserve to be called a goddess? Jun Haotian looked at the girl in white and sneered. He naturally knew the identity of this young girl. She was none other than the Jade Lake Saintess. She was known as the first saintess of the Eastern Wilderness. She was more beautiful than all the women in the Eastern Wilderness. Even the princes of the 4 great empires of the Middle Plains and the prodigies of the demon race of the Southern Mountain Range admired her. Jun Haotian was annoyed by the fact that the Jade Lake Saintess had resorted to such means on their first meeting. Haha, Holy Son of Haotian must be joking. The Moon Phoenix can't afford it. I'll leave it to you, Holy Son of Haotian. Guyue Huang said, her voice as clear as a silver bell. If it was any other man who heard Guyue Huang's sweet request, they would have immediately reacted. Even if he had to go through water and tread on fire, he would still complete the mission. Guyue Huang was indeed very beautiful. It could be said that Guyue Huang was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen since he came to this world. There was a saying in the cultivation world, no cultivator is ugly. Anyone who could cultivate would not be ugly. But their temperaments were worlds apart. The Jade Lake Saintess, Guyue Huang, was the most beautiful in both appearance and temperament. Guyue Huang said slowly. Then she turned into a beam of light and was about to leave. Jade Lake Saintess, since fate has brought us together again, why are you in such a hurry to leave? Why don't you share such beautiful scenery with us? Wouldn't that be a pity? Seeing this, Jun Haoyin's lips curled into a mocking smile. Then a vast and boundless aura burst out from his body. He slowly threw out a punch. It was like a falling meteor. The next moment, the entire array was shaking. Countless boulders exploded. After Jun Haoyin and his group landed, at least hundreds of dried corpses were released. Haha, in the next moment, countless dried corpses broke through the air. An extremely evil aura swept through the entire space. No matter how powerful Guyue Huang was, it was difficult for her to resist so many dried corpses. Boom. The horrifying aura spread. The array covered an area with a radius of thousands of miles. The Jade Lake Saintess, Guyue Huang, was forced back by the numerous dried corpses. Seeing that she could not escape from the array, Guyue Huang was furious. At the same time, Jun Haoyin smashed dozens of dried corpses around him with a punch. In the next moment, Jun Haoyin attacked Guyue Huang with a terrifying aura. Seeing this, Guyue Huang, the Jade Lake Saintess, was stunned. She felt aggrieved. Is this necessary? Didn't I just set you up once? Do you have to attack me in the array? Anger rose in her heart. In the next moment, Guyue Huang clenched the long sword in her hand and swung it. Dazzling lotus flowers appeared. These dazzling lotus flowers contained shocking sword intent. All the dried corpses that came into contact with the lotus flowers exploded and died. At the same time, a portion of the lotus flowers swept towards Jun Haoyin. Both sides actually disregarded the danger that existed within the array and directly started fighting. After all, there were countless dried corpses at the Imperial Dao realm surrounding them. Even if these dried corpses weren't very strong, their ability to not die was extremely disgusting. As long as the array remained intact, these dried corpses could be revived endlessly. At this moment, Guyue Huang was clearly aware that it was utterly impossible for her to break through the array by herself. Now, only by working together with Jun Haoyin would she be able to break through the array. But with Jun Haoyin's current attitude, it was utterly impossible for him to work together with her. At that moment, Guyue Huang was determined to defeat Jun Haoyin, force him to submit. But as time passed, she noticed to her shock that, no matter what methods she used, the Holy Son of Haoyin dealt with them with ease. What surprised her even more was that the methods Jun Haoyin used against her were extremely difficult to deal with. If this continued, it was very likely that she would be the one to lose when the time came. Holy Son of Haoyin, it won't benefit anyone if this continues. Guyue Huang spoke. She knew that this couldn't continue. It's fine. I have plenty of true origin. Jun Haoyin smiled when he heard this. She tricked him. How could she not pay the price? So what if she was the #1 holy maiden of the eastern wilderness? He didn't take her seriously at all. Bang. Another punch blasted out, and hundreds of dried corpses exploded into a bloody mist. Such a domineering stance caused Guyue Huang's expression to change slightly. He's so strong. But he's too narrow-minded. But when she thought about it, she really was the one who attacked first. When she thought up to here, Guyue Huang said helplessly, Holy Son of Haoyin, I was indeed in the wrong earlier. I apologize to you. How about we work together to break through the array? However, Jun Haoyin had no intention of paying attention to her at all. He still stood on the spot, and as he repelled the dried corpses, he launched another attack at her. Of course, Jun Haoyin didn't want to kill Guyue Huang, regardless of the other party's identity. Because of Nalan Shui, it could be said that she had some ties with the Jade Lake sacred ground. With so many reasons, Jun Haoyin naturally wouldn't kill her. But no matter what, he still had to let this holy maiden suffer some pain. Anyway, no one could get out now. Seeing that Jun Haoyin ignored her, Guyue Huang trembled all over. Obviously she was angry. But in the next moment, she calmed down and spoke again. In this great bloodstone array, there is an extremely large number of divine meteorite bloodstones. After breaking through the array, you and I will split it 50-50. As soon as these words came out, Jun Haoyin narrowed his eyes slightly. The divine meteorite bloodstones contained terrifying power and were extremely beneficial to the cultivation of the imperial path. Unfortunately, there were very few of them in the Wuxian continent. The Haotian sacred ground didn't have much in stock, and there were many uses for it. Therefore they usually wouldn't take it out easily. He didn't expect that there would be such a divine item here. Sure enough, he came to the right place. But she wanted to send Jun Haotian away with half? Impossible. So he said directly, "I want all of it." Chapter 153. I want all of them. Hearing Jun Haotian's arrogant words, Guyue Huang's expression suddenly froze. She looked at Jun Haotian in disbelief. To be honest, she had never thought that Jun Haotian would be so greedy. If not for the fact that she needed Jun Haotian to break the array and that Jun Haotian was so powerful, she would have drawn her sword and attacked him. Burning with anger, Guyue Huang waved the sword in her hand, and lotus flowers flew out from her body. Each lotus flower shot out thousands of rays of light. A sharp aura surged out from her hand. The hundreds of dried corpses around her exploded and turned into a bloody mist. That was a shocking move. After venting her anger, Guyue Huang did not choose to attack Jun Haotian. She took a deep breath and forced herself to calm down. Holy son of Haotian, Yue Huang sincerely wants to work with you. You and I can't break this array by ourselves. If you want to break it, we have to work together. Holy son of Haotian, I hope you will think twice before you act. Guyue Huang looked at Jun Haotian and tried her best to persuade him. At that moment she was also feeling a little depressed. Since she was young, she had been the center of attention and had been pampered since she was young. Everyone who met her was full of respect and admiration. No one had ever treated her the way Jun Haotian had treated her before. It's okay. My true origin is rich. I'm not afraid at all. Hearing that, Jun Haotian spoke slowly. From beginning to end, his face remained calm and indifferent. You led the trouble to me and trapped me in this array. If not for my strength, I would have been buried here. You want to get rid of me with a mere 50% of the divine meteorite bloodstone? Guyue Huang, aren't you too naive? Jun Haotian said coldly as he looked at Guyue Huang. He had never been a person who would take advantage of others. She had put herself in such a dangerous situation, and now she was still shamelessly asking him to cooperate with her. Hearing Jun Haotian's words, Guyue Huang was instantly enraged. Ever since he was young, no one had dared to speak to him like this. However, after thinking about it for a moment, she realized that she was indeed in the wrong. I was indeed at fault in this matter. However, it's impossible for you to obtain all of them. I'll give you 60%. Gritting his teeth, Jun Haotian made another concession. Actually, she already knew the method to break the formation. If it weren't for the fact that she couldn't break the array by herself, she would have already fallen out with Jun Haotian. Jun Haotian also understood this, which was why he was fearless. Before deciding to enter the sovereign's remains, Jun Haotian had already learned about all the geniuses in the eastern wilderness. The Jade Lake Saintess was no exception. It was rumored that the Jade Lake Saintess was well versed in the art of formations. Perhaps he had already found a way to break the formation. And most importantly, legend had it that the Shenyuan supremacy was related to the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. The Jade Lake Sacred Ground had always suffered the least losses when the Shenyuan supremacy's remains were opened. Perhaps the Jade Lake Saintess could be used. In his heart, Jun Haotian didn't want to continue wasting time here. The sovereign's remains would only be opened for a limited time. He couldn't waste too much time here. However, 60% wasn't enough to satisfy him. Therefore Jun Haotian spoke again slowly, 80%. This is my biggest concession. 80%? Guyue Huang took a deep breath. The holy son of Haotian really didn't want to lose out at all. Alright. Guyue Huang almost gnashed her teeth as she said this word. She comforted herself in her heart. These things were nothing. Her main goal was to reach that place. As long as she could reach that place, everything would be worth it. Moreover, Guyue Huang had also realized. This so-called holy son of Haotian's strength was enough to surpass everyone's expectations. She suddenly had an idea in her heart. Although the holy son of Haotian had a strange temperament, he was very powerful. He was indeed a very good partner. She could work with him temporarily. Along the way, she could rely on his strength to reduce some unnecessary trouble. In short, both of them had their own ulterior motives and were thinking of how to use each other. Then it's settled. Hearing this, Jun Haotian smiled and immediately released the aura in his body. In an instant, golden chi and blood surged and turned into an ancient golden dragon, shining brightly in the world. At the same time, he took out the exquisite pagoda, which turned into 1,000 feet tall and dropped the power of merit. In the next moment, countless mummified corpses turned into ashes under the power of the purest yang. They couldn't resist at all. Whether it was Jun Haoyin's holy body or the divine elephant overpowering force. They were the nemesis of all evil things. These evil mummified corpses naturally couldn't resist at all. Seeing this, even the Jade Lake Saintess, Guyue Huang, couldn't help but reveal a trace of surprise. Then she slowly exclaimed, "Is this the power of the holy body? It is indeed extraordinary. With this holy son of Hao Tian here, I'm afraid Ziyang holy son will have a hard time." While Guyue Huang was exclaiming about Jun Haoyin's strength, she wasn't afraid at all. As the only saintess of the Jade Lake sacred ground, she naturally had many trump cards. "Holy son of Hao Tian, you stay here and hold them off. I'll go break the formation eye." After a moment, Guyue Huang suddenly spoke. However, just as she was about to leave, Jun Haoyin said, "Hold on. Leave the matter of breaking the array to me." Hearing this, Guyue Huang was stunned for a moment. Then she reacted and glared at Jun Haoyin. "You don't trust me?" Guyue Huang's beautiful eyes stared at Jun Haoyin, full of anger. Jun Haoyin's words clearly showed that he didn't trust her to break the formation eye. For the first time, Guyue Huang felt so angry. "Jade Lake Saintess, this is the first time we've met. How can you trust me? Anyway, this matter of breaking the formation can only be left to me." However, Jun Haoyin didn't care about her feelings. He sneered and said in a domineering manner, "Fine, just break a piece of bloodstone at the camp position." After a long while, Guyue Huang had no choice but to compromise. She slowly told Jun Haoyin the location of the formation eye. Hearing this, Jun Haoyin smiled and left. As for the Jade Lake Saintess, facing the mummies that kept appearing, her eyes were filled with murderous intent. Clang, 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 countless sword lotuses exploded, dazzling and piercing the sky. The entire ground was shaking. Hundreds of mummies were all shattered and turned into nothingness. It seemed that she was venting something. Jun Haoyin glanced at her and ignored her. In the next moment he appeared at the location Guyue Huang pointed out and punched. Boom. Under this punch, the entire formation collapsed, and countless blood-colored boulders disappeared. Along with all the mummies, they were annihilated and never revived. Obviously, Guyue Huang was telling the truth. It was also at this moment that Jun Haoyin looked ahead. Countless blood-divine stones emitted a scarlet light. They looked extremely strange and contained a huge amount of energy. These were the blood-divine stones of meteorite. There were tens of thousands of them. It was equivalent to the total amount stored in the Langya sacred ground. With these blood-divine stones of meteorite, Jun Haoyin didn't have to worry about cultivating to the early stage of the imperial realm. Hurry up and take these blood-divine stones. This formation is only temporarily broken and will reform after a while. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to find the formation eye next time. The Jade Lake Saintess, Guyue Huang, stood beside Jun Haoyin and said coldly. Obviously, she was still angry at Jun Haoyin. If it were anyone else, in order to obtain this eastern wilderness goddess, he probably wouldn't even want a single blood-divine stone. However, Jun Haoyin clearly didn't have this awareness. He smiled and said, "We agreed. I'll take 80% and you'll take 20%. I, Guyue Huang, always keep my word. Let's go." Hearing this, Guyue Huang couldn't help but feel bitter. For the first time she felt somewhat miserable. After taking their divine stones, they chose to leave together. It was like a tacit understanding. But as for the reason, only they knew. Chapter 154. In an extremely desolate land, a figure in a purple robe and a figure in a white robe were walking side by side. The two of them were Jun Haoyin and the Jade Lake Holy Maiden, Guyue Huang. Although this was only a relic, it was also a small world with a vast territory. After breaking through the bloodstone array, the two of them had been walking together. During this time, the two of them naturally met other people. However, these people were not from the Langya sacred ground or the Jade Lake sacred ground. Hence, Jun Haoyin and Guyue Huang did not appear. During this process, Jun Haoyin and Guyue Huang had also completely come to an agreement. During this time in the relic, the two of them would temporarily cooperate. As for the opportunities that they obtained, they would have the priority to choose. As for the opportunities that both of them needed, they would split them equally. Jun Haoyin chose to cooperate with Guyue Huang because of her understanding of the supreme relic. He believed that Feng Xiaoyao, Jun Moyo, and the others should have already met up by now. With their combined strength, unless there was someone like the Holy Sun, there should be no danger. Moreover, before entering the relic, he had left a mark on Jun Moyo. If Jun Moyo was in danger, he would be able to sense it immediately. After resolving these worries, Jun Haoyan immediately decided to obtain the opportunities first. At the same time he would also look for the remains of the holy son of Langya, Baiming Han, who had died in the supreme relic 30,000 years ago. Now he and Gu Yuehuang had temporarily formed a team. The core of the Xinyuan supreme relic is not far ahead. There will definitely be many arrays there. You'd better be careful. After a while, Gu Yuehuang stopped and looked ahead as she reminded Jun Haoyan. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan immediately looked ahead. About 100 miles ahead, a majestic but very dilapidated palace appeared before his eyes. A faint aura that made one's heart palpitate faintly appeared above the palace. Above the palace, there were many dead stars revolving around it. There were also countless blood-red clouds floating above it. It made the palace look a little strange. To be honest, Jun Haoyan was able to arrive here so quickly. It was all thanks to Gu Yuehuang. Along the way he had set up countless origin formations. If one didn't know about formations, then not to mention a monarch realm cultivator, even a transcendence realm expert would find it difficult to leave. At this moment, Jun Haoyan finally understood. Why was it that after so many years, so few people were able to enter the core region of the Xinyuan sovereign's remains? According to Gu Yuehuang's words, she had also prepared for a long time to enter the Supreme Being's remains. He had carefully studied many of the letters left behind by the ancestors who had entered the sovereign's relic. Therefore she was able to walk all the way to the core area of the ruins. However, this was the remains of a supreme being after all, and it was only through the letters left behind by the ancestors. Gu Yuehuang wasn't sure if there was any danger in the core area. Therefore it was best to have an expert as a helper. After all, every time the supreme being's remains opened, many holy son of the hallowed grounds had perished within it. Even the holy son of Langya who'd swept through the younger generation 30,000 years ago had perished within the Xinyuan sovereign's remains. This is the core area of the ruins? Doesn't that mean that it's very likely that the treasures left behind by Xinyuan sovereign are hidden here? Jun Haoyan immediately spoke when he heard Gu Yuehuang. A trace of contemplation flashed through Jun Haoyan's heart as he gazed at the palace before him. The holy son of Langya from 30,000 years ago, Baiming Han, possessed extraordinary talent. It was impossible for him to have perished in the outer area of the ruins. So, it was very likely that he was in the core area. Of course, it's best to be 120% vigilant when you arrive here. Don't blame me for not warning you if you encounter any danger. Gu Yuehuang glanced at Jun Haoyan and spoke slowly. After that, Gu Yuehuang transformed into a ray of light that shot towards the palace. Seeing this, Jun Haoyan smiled slightly. Then he turned into a stream of light and followed closely behind. With his current strength he wasn't afraid of the Jade Lake Saint playing any tricks. At the same time on the other side of the ruins, Xiang Holy Sun stood alone on a desolate mountain peak. Ever since he'd entered the ruins he'd been waiting here. He didn't look for the disciples of Langya Holy Sun who'd followed him. He didn't head towards the core area of the ruins either. He stayed quietly on the mountain peak as if he was waiting for something. For Xiang Holy Sun, the opportunity in the ruins and the search for Baiming Han weren't the most important things. He could take his time to find the opportunity. For him, the most important thing now was to deal with Jun Haoyan and Jun Moyo. About 2 hours later, a vast and terrifying aura suddenly descended from the mountain peak. Buzz. In the next moment, a man in armor walked out of the void. His entire body exuded a terrifying battle intent. Standing in the void, he looked like an invincible god of war. Wang Su, why are you looking for me? The man in armor spoke in a thunderous voice. Moreover, the man in armor addressed Xiang Holy Sun by his name. This man was the Holy Son of all heaven, Zhuozhongtong. Behind Zhuozhongtong were a few of the pro-disciples of the Holy Son of all heaven. That's right. Let's wait for everyone to arrive. Hearing this, Xiang Holy Sun nodded and said slowly. Not long after, the Holy Son of Qingyun Holy Sun, Long Dongbua, arrived with his pro-disciples. The purple sun Saint Sun still didn't explain. He just waited quietly. This scene seemed to have been predetermined. In the next moment another figure walked out. It was the number 1 pro-disciple of Yaoguang Holy Sun, Fang Shilong. Is Li Hongqian not coming? Xiang Holy Sun frowned slightly. Hearing this, Fang Shilong smiled and bowed slightly. Our Holy Sun said that he won't be involved in this matter. However, if we are going to deal with Jun Haoyan he will come and watch. This was the pride of the second most powerful person in Eastern Wilderness. The 2 Holy Sun, Zhuozhongtong and Long Dongbua, narrowed their eyes but didn't say anything. As for Xiang Holy Sun, After a moment of silence, he nodded his head as well. The few of them were more than enough to carry out this plan. With the three Holy Sons' help and a series of backup plans, Fang Shilong would be able to deal with them. Jun Haoyin and Jun Moyo wouldn't be able to escape from him. Xiang, I hope you are telling the truth. Don't lie to us. Long Dongbua stared at Xiang Holy Sun and said slowly. If not for what Xiang Holy Sun had said, he wouldn't have come at all. Indeed. It is very rare to have the three Holy Sun work together. I hope I can get what I want. Zhuozhongtong also spoke, but his tone was not very polite. I, Xiang Holy Sun, am a man of my word. Besides, Prince Jiao has already approved of this matter. There will be no problems. Xiang Holy Sun didn't mind the hostility in Long Dongbua and the other two's voices. He knew that these two were proud and arrogant people. If not for this matter, they wouldn't have helped. As expected, the two frowned when they heard Xiang Holy Sun's words. Prince Jiao was famous on the Wuxian continent. He was known as the most powerful monster in the southern region and was as famous as the Holy Sun of Kunlun. He was definitely a terrifying existence. Prince Jiao was also very close to Xiang Holy Sun. Since Xiang Holy Sun had said it himself, it should be true. If that's the case, let's do it. We can also lure Jun Haoyin here. Long Dongbua didn't want to waste any more time. After this matter, he still had to go to the center of the Supreme Ruins to look for opportunities. At the same time, if he could kill the arrogant Holy Sun, that would be great. Holy Sun, follow me. I know where they are. Fang Shilong said with a smile on his face. Jun Haoyin had humiliated him. Fang Shilong was going to make Jun Haoyin pay a heavy price. Xiang Holy Sun stood in front of everyone. His target wasn't Jun Haoyin, nor was it the core area of Shenyuan Supreme's ruins. Of course, this matter was definitely related to Jun Haoyin. Because Xiang Holy Sun's target? It was Jun Moyo. Chapter 155. At that moment, Jun Haoyin and Gu Yuehuang had already entered the palace in the core area. With Gu Yuehuang's help, the two of them overcame all the obstacles and successfully arrived at the entrance of the main palace. If you want to enter the main palace, you must break this formation. Looking at the faint spatial fluctuations around the main palace, Gu Yuehuang's face showed a trace of caution. Hearing that, Jun Haoyin nodded in agreement. Ever since the two of them entered the palace, Jun Haoyin was responsible for dealing with sudden crises, while Gu Yuehuang was mainly responsible for breaking the formation. Regarding array formations, Jun Haoyin could be said to be completely clueless. That was why the two of them had such a division of labor. However, Jun Haoyin had doubts in his heart. The formation of this palace was set up by Prime Shenyuan. How can you break it so easily? Of course, I'm not saying that your ability is not good. I'm just a little confused. Seeing that Gu Yuehuang's expression was strange, Jun Haoyin hurriedly explained. Actually, he had wanted to ask this question for a long time. Along the way, Gu Yuehuang's speed of breaking the formation was shockingly fast. Moreover, Jun Haoyin realized that the formation they went through was not that dangerous. That was what confused Jun Haoyin the most. Although Gu Yuehuang had studied the Supreme Ruins for many years, it was still a Supreme Ruins. But this was the Sovereign Ruins after all. How could it be so weak? Hearing Jun Haoyin's words, Gu Yuehuang was not angry, which was rare. She pondered for a moment and slowly said, back then Prime Shenyuan was known as the #1 formation master. The formations he left behind were naturally exquisite. However, this is a place of inheritance specially left behind by Prime Shenyuan. He also restricted people over 200 years old from entering, so the formations he left behind would naturally not be too strong. Moreover, most of the formations here have been through endless years, and their power has long weakened. Moreover, Prime Shenyuan was not a murderous person. The formations he left behind were not too many killing formations. Moreover, many of the formations here are recorded in the Jade Lake sacred ground. I have already comprehended all of them. After saying that, Gu Yuehuang looked at Jun Haoyin proudly. In terms of formations, Gu Yuehuang could confidently say that no one in the entire eastern wilderness could compare to her. I see. Hearing this, Jun Haoyin nodded with an indifferent expression. Seeing Jun Haoyin's expression, Gu Yuehuang's face was immediately filled with anger. He had said so much, but this guy didn't even say a single word of praise. How infuriating. Then she ignored Jun Haoyin and focused on breaking the array. Just as Gu Yuehuang had said, the formation left behind by Sovereign Shenyuan was powerful. But because Shenyuan Jishen was on good terms with the Jade Lake sacred ground, there were quite a few records regarding Shenyuan Sovereign's formations. Therefore, even with the array outside the main hall, Gu Yuehuang only took an hour to break through it. Although there were some dangers during this period, they were all blocked by Jun Haotian. Of course, like the Bloodstone array, these formations were only temporarily broken. After a period of time, these formations would be reactivated. After that, if someone came, they would have to break the formation again. Let's go in. There must be danger in the center of the main hall. Don't be careful. Gu Yuehuang's solemn voice came from beside Jun Haotian. Obviously, Gu Yuehuang was also very afraid of the main hall. Jun Haotian nodded and followed Gu Yuehuang slowly inside. He was a little curious. What exactly was the place of inheritance left behind by the Supreme Being like? He was sure that Gu Yuehuang must know something about this main hall. However, he didn't ask. Gu Yuehuang wouldn't tell him even if he asked. Jun Haotian secretly decided that after entering the main hall, he would definitely not let Gu Yuehuang out of his sight. Then the two of them slowly walked into the main hall. Perhaps it was because of the corrosion of countless years, this ancient main hall had become extremely dilapidated. It was filled with a strong desolate aura. However, at the moment, there didn't seem to be any formations inside the main hall. The two of them didn't find any danger for the time being. However, Jun Haotian noticed that there seemed to be traces of a fight inside the main hall. Someone had entered this main hall before. Jun Haotian immediately came to this conclusion. Who was it? Could it be the holy son of Langya, Baiming Han from 30,000 years ago? Jun Haotian secretly guessed. But at this moment, the two of them finally entered the center of the main hall. A strong light shot out as if it was going to pierce their eyes. Even Jun Haotian couldn't open his eyes for a moment. The two of them closed their eyes tightly and directly scanned with their divine soul power. However, they still didn't find anything. The next moment, all the light disappeared. Gu Yuehuang and Jun Haotian looked at each other and then rushed into the main hall. When the two of them saw the scene in the main hall, everything that was reflected in front of them shocked them. They saw that the main hall was empty and there wasn't even a trace of a pattern. It looked even more dilapidated. It didn't look like what everyone had expected at all. A relic left behind by a Supreme Being expert was just like this? Nothing at all? Gu Yuehuang looked at everything in front of her and said with a frown, "How could this be? This is impossible." The ancient books clearly recorded. Jun Haotian's expression changed when he heard this. This Gu Yuehuang really knew something. He looked at the scene in front of him and said with a serious tone, "I once saw in the ancient books that Supreme Being Shenyuan ascended to the realm of the gods, right?" Gu Yuehuang nodded and looked at Jun Haotian with a puzzled expression. She obviously didn't know why Jun Haotian asked such a question. Even if Supreme Being Shenyuan ascended, what's with the ancient bronze coffin in the main hall? Jun Haotian pointed at a certain spot in the main hall and said slowly. Gu Yuehuang looked at the direction where Jun Haotian was pointing at and looked at the center of the main hall. There was a bronze coffin that was 10 feet in size sitting there quietly. As if it had been through countless years, it was rusty and even the patterns on it had disappeared. And on top of the bronze coffin was a huge divine pearl. The light that the two of them discovered just now was released from that divine pearl. Perhaps it was because the light was too bright that the two of them didn't discover this ancient bronze coffin at first. Moreover, Jun Haotian was shocked to discover that. At this moment, the bronze coffin was already half open. It seemed that something had already walked out from inside. It made one feel a little scared. According to the records, Supreme Being Shenyuan ascended to the realm of the gods when his lifespan was less than 500 years. And before that, he had indeed built a coffin for himself. Gu Yuehuang recalled the records of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. Perhaps only the Jade Lake Sacred Ground knew about this. Because the Jade Lake Sacred Ground's saintess of that generation was Supreme Being Xuanyuan's companion. "Let's see what's going on first," Jun Haotian said. Gu Yuehuang nodded in agreement. Then the two of them slowly walked to the front of the coffin and saw the scene inside. In an instant, Gu Yuehuang's expression changed drastically, and she took a step back. Jun Haotian didn't say anything and his eyes were extremely cautious. In this bronze coffin there was a piece of human skin. It was a withered but intact old human skin. Even if a cultivator saw this scene, their hair would probably stand on end. "Can you tell who it is?" Gu Yuehuang took a deep breath and immediately focused her gaze on it. She looked at it for a long time and shook her head slightly. The face of this human skin seems to be looking at this divine pearl in front of it. Jun Haotian said and looked in the direction that the human skin was facing. The human skin no longer had any life force. There was nothing in the entire hall. Therefore, the final secret should be that divine pearl. Then Gu Yuehuang glanced at Jun Haotian. Then she directly touched the divine pearl that was emitting a dazzling light with both hands. At this moment, Jun Haoyin saw from the corner of his eyes, he saw that the fingers of that human skin were moving. Be careful. Chapter 156. By the time Jun Haoyin said that, it was already too late. The entire hall was instantly filled with an extremely evil aura. The runes that had originally disappeared slowly appeared on the ancient bronze coffin again. Jun Haoyin scanned with his divine sense and suddenly realized that the surrounding void had been sealed. A strong sense of danger instantly surged into Jun Haoyin's heart, causing him to feel extremely uneasy. Guyue Huang's face was also ghastly pale, and even her divine sense seemed to be trembling. This terrifying evil power seemed to be able to destroy everything. It was as if a peerless demon was being suppressed in this hall. At this moment it was awakening, and it was extremely shocking. A trace of decisiveness flashed across their eyes. In the next moment, Jun Haoyin and Guyue Huang did not hesitate at all and directly attacked the human skin. Guyue Huang kept waving the sword in her hand, and dazzling lotus flowers flew out with extremely sharp sword intent as if they were about to tear the entire hall apart. On the other hand, Jun Haoyin directly activated his sacred physique. Instantly, a powerful golden aura surged out, boundlessly violent. Countless primordial mammoth shadows appeared one after another, and waves of terrifying suppressive force swept out, carrying the might of eternal hell. Both of them were top prodigies of the eastern wilderness, and at this moment they attacked together. Their might was naturally earth-shattering. But what shocked them was that an even more powerful and terrifying aura suddenly surged out of the hall. The two of them were shocked to discover that this aura had completely surpassed the Imperial Dao realm. It had even surpassed the Dharma characteristic realm. This was the aura of an immortal realm expert. As for Guyue Huang and Jun Haoyin with their strength, they were not strong enough. Even a Dharma characteristic realm expert would not be able to do anything to them. But this aura belonged to an immortal realm expert. An existence that was known as an eternal powerhouse. Boom. Suddenly, Guyue Huang and Jun Haoyin looked at each other. In the next moment, the two of them tacitly rushed toward the entrance of the hall. They wanted to escape. But to their horror, just as they were about to rush to the entrance, suddenly they were pulled back by a powerful force. They could not resist this force. There was no way to escape. Guyue Huang and Jun Haoyin looked at each other in despair. This hall was most likely the place where the two of them had fallen. Kiki, blood food is here. Just then an extremely aged voice sounded. It was as terrifying as an evil spirit. Guyue Huang and Jun Haoyin tensed up when they heard the voice. He immediately looked in the direction of the voice. Then, an extremely strange scene occurred in front of the two of them. In the ancient bronze coffin, the old human skin slowly stood up. Just like that, it slowly walked out and stood on the coffin. A piece of human skin had come back to life. Boom. As Jun Haoyin and Guyue Huang looked at the human skin warily, the human skin suddenly shouted. A thunderous voice resounded in the hall. A series of explosions resounded in the void. That powerful aura made the blood of the two of them boil. Even if Guyue Huang and Jun Haoyin had countless trump cards, it was useless against the power of the immortal realm. Unless they used the legendary supreme weapon. Unfortunately, neither of them had a supreme weapon. Moreover, there was something worse. This Xianyuan supreme weapon's relic was isolated from the outside world. The Holy Sun's mark in Jun Haoyin's body was also useless. In the next moment, Guyue Huang could not resist the evil power that filled the hall. She fainted and fell to the ground. Jun Haoyin had a sacred body and cultivated the indestructible divine body. His physical body was extremely strong. At this moment, his body was surrounded by a thick blood aura. It was like a bloody sun making one's heart palpitate. Kiki, it's a sacred body. Good. At this moment, the human skin also underwent a huge change. He slowly expanded and turned into an old man that resembled a dried corpse. He was all skin and bones. He looked more like a ghost than a ghost. Especially his hollow eyes, which contained an extremely evil aura. The way he looked at Jun Haoyin was as if he had seen the best food. You have a sacred body. Your flesh must be very good. The mummified old man looked at Jun Haoyin greedily. In the next moment he directly attacked Jun Haoyin. Boom. Jun Haoyin's divine soul was shaking and emitting a bright golden light. He wanted to attack with all his might. However, this old man was too strong and terrifying. He did not have the strength to resist at all. I didn't expect your divine soul to be so powerful. Not bad. Seeing this, the old man's eyes became even more greedy. In the next moment he opened his mouth. It seemed that he wanted to swallow Jun Haoyan in one bite. Jun Haoyan's expression did not change. He was using all kinds of Supreme Emperor techniques in his body. The 9 Langya's Holy Sun's mark also exploded at this moment. He wanted to attack with all his might to increase his combat strength. However, at this moment he felt that the terrifying power suddenly disappeared. The old man actually stopped. You have the Holy Sun's mark. The Langya's Holy Sun's mark. You are the Holy Sun of the Langya sacred ground. The old man looked at the 9 Holy Sun's marks that appeared on Jun Haoyan's body and his voice suddenly became very excited. Seeing this, Jun Haoyan frowned slightly. In the next moment, Jun Haoyan's body flashed and he was about to leave the hall. This old man was too strange. If he did not escape now, when would he? Tell me, are you the Holy Sun of the Langya sacred ground? Seeing that Jun Haoyan wanted to escape, the old man suddenly became a little crazy and shouted crazily. In the next moment, a vast force acted on Jun Haoyan and pulled Jun Haoyan back again. That's right. Jun Haoyan had no choice but to answer the old man's question. Aha, it's been 30,000 years, 30,000 years. Someone from the Langya sacred ground is here, someone is finally here. Hearing Jun Haoyan's affirmative answer, the old man instantly became crazy. He danced around as if he had lost his mind. Seeing this scene, Jun Haoyan suddenly thought of something and looked at the old man in disbelief. Then he slowly said, "You are Senior Bei Ming, the Holy Son of the Langya sacred ground who disappeared in the Supreme Relic 30,000 years ago, Bei Ming Han?" When the old man heard Jun Haoyan's words, his expression suddenly became calm. I didn't expect that after 30,000 years, there would still be someone who remembers me. The old man's voice was filled with mixed emotions. He slowly said, "That's right, I am Bei Ming Han, the Holy Son of the Langya sacred ground from 30,000 years ago, Bei Ming Han." After hearing the old man's affirmative answer, Jun Haoyan's expression changed instantly. He did not expect this at all. A person who had disappeared 30,000 years ago. The number 1 prodigy of the past was actually still alive. Moreover, he had become like this? Just what had happened in the middle of this? You have 9 marks of the Holy Sun of the Langya sacred ground on your body? Could it be that you have gained the recognition of the Lord Langya? How did you do it? Even I didn't gain the recognition of the Lord Langya back then? Bei Ming Han looked at Jun Haoyan with some doubts in his eyes. His cloudy eyes stared at Jun Haoyan as if he wanted to see through everything. After a long while he finally confirmed it. Jun Haoyan did indeed have 9 marks of the Holy Sun of the Langya sacred ground on his body. What is your title? Bei Ming Han asked. He stood on the coffin like an evil spirit. Haoyan. Jun Haoyan slowly said. At this moment, his tense heart finally relaxed slightly. He could feel that the old man no longer had any intention to kill him. Haoyan. Haoyan, what a domineering title. Hearing this, Bei Ming Han mumbled to himself. Then he asked again, "Has the sacred ground forgotten about me long ago?" At this moment, Bei Ming Han looked very dejected, like an old man on his deathbed. Seeing this scene, Jun Haoyan's heart skipped a beat. He did not know what had happened to Bei Ming Han. But at this moment, it seemed that Bei Ming Han still regarded himself as the Holy Son of the Langya sacred ground. Without any hesitation, Jun Haoyan took a step forward and said, "You're wrong. The sacred ground has not forgotten about you. I'm here this time to look for you and return to the Langya sacred ground." This is the wish of all the sages and the higher-ups of the Langya sacred ground in the past 30,000 years. Jun Haoyan slowly opened his mouth and spoke word by word. "Is what you said true?" Bei Ming Han asked. His body was dry and his gray hair danced in the wind. There was a glimmer of hope in his hollow eyes. He could vaguely see it. The peerless genius of the eastern wilderness 30,000 years ago. Chapter 157. Jun Haoyan couldn't help but sigh at Bei Ming Han's current state. Before entering the Supreme Being's relic, he had never thought of this possibility. The Holy Son of Langya from 30,000 years ago was actually still alive today. Moreover, he was still alive in such a monstrous state. Just like that, he was still alive. Although Bei Ming Han was emitting a terrifying aura and the suppression of the immortal realm, however, Jun Haoyan could clearly sense that Bei Ming Han's body was like an oil lamp that had run out of oil, and his qi and blood were in decline. There was no way to hide it. Fate really made fools of people. Looking at Bei Ming Han's current state, Jun Haoyan lamented inwardly. Looking at Bei Ming Han's earnest gaze, Jun Haoyan was slightly taken aback. Then he nodded solemnly. No matter what, Bai Ming Han was a peerless genius who had once dominated an era. That's right. The sacred ground has been waiting for you, Jun Haoyan said seriously. In fact, what he said was the truth. Bai Ming Han had always held an extremely important position in the Langya sacred ground. He was the first holy son of Langya in the history of the Langya sacred ground. After so many years, his legend was still circulating in the Langya sacred ground. Of course, this was also what he wanted to say in his heart. After hearing Jun Haoyan's words, Bai Ming Han's expression became very complicated. At times he would laugh out loud and at other times he would cry bitterly. So that's why, Bai Ming Han muttered to himself, looking very confused. But soon, he became absent-minded again, and his eyes were filled with hatred. If that's the case, why hasn't anyone come to find me in the past 30,000 years? This question had always been a knot in Bai Ming Han's heart. He was the one and only holy son of Langya. He was the most outstanding holy son in the history of the Langya sacred ground. He had been trapped here for 30,000 years and no one had found him. Why was that? Thinking of this, Bai Ming Han was extremely confused. Looking at Bai Ming Han's resentful eyes, Jun Haoyan sighed helplessly and began to explain. That was what had happened in the past 30,000 years. Everyone thought that Bai Ming Han was already dead. The Langya sacred ground thought so too. It was because of his death. The entire Langya sacred ground hadn't entered sovereign Xuanyuan's ruins in the past 30,000 years. But during this period they had never stopped searching. If the Langya sacred ground knew that Bai Ming Han was still alive, they would definitely rush here regardless of everything. Fate was making fools of people. Have you been trapped here for the past 30,000 years? Looking at Bai Ming Han, Jun Haoyan asked. Hearing this, Bai Ming Han let out a bitter smile. Then he explained how it was. 30,000 years ago, the ruins of Autark Shenyuan opened. After SSS. The two of them were able to reach this stage without understanding the formation in the ruins. Regarding this, Jun Haoyan was impressed. After Bai Ming Han and the Kunlunzes entered the main hall, they actually discovered the legendary 7 Treasures Bodhi Seed. 7 Treasures Bodhi Seed? Jun Haoyan couldn't help but be shocked. That was one of the rarest spiritual roots in the martial god continent, the seed of the 7 Treasures Bodhi tree. Of course, this seed couldn't bloom. Legend had it that there was only one 7 Treasures Bodhi tree in the entire 3,000 small worlds. The seed it produced could allow one to comprehend the mysteries of heaven and earth. It was a supreme divine object that nurtured the soul and promoted cultivation. The legendary 7 Treasures Bodhi tree was even more incredible. If one obtained it, they could ascend to immortality and achieve eternal life. Of course, this was undoubtedly an exaggeration. But this also showed how miraculous the 7 Treasures Bodhi tree and seeds were. Most importantly, Bai Ming Han and the Kunlunzes were both at the Emperor realm. It was a crucial moment for him to comprehend heaven and earth. To them, the value of a Bodhi seed was self-evident. However, the beginning of Bai Ming Han's tragedy was caused by this Bodhi seed. At the most critical moment, in order to obtain the Bodhi seed, that Kunlun Saintess had betrayed Bai Ming Han. At that time, Bai Ming Han was the strongest among his peers. Unparalleled strength. He was even strong enough to compete with the older generation experts. But the hero was sad that no one cared about him, but he fell in love with the Saintess of Kunlun at that time. At that time, the two of them were in love with each other and had already pledged their lives to each other. Naturally, Bai Ming Han trusted him as well. Because of this, Bai Ming Han was successfully ambushed by the Kunlun Saintess of that generation. Bai Ming Han was even more unlucky to have touched the terrifying array left on the ancient bronze coffin. Even though Bai Ming Han was powerful, he was still helpless against the heaven-defying formation left behind by Sovereign Shenyuan. His physical body was destroyed in an instant. Even his divine soul was almost destroyed. As for the Kunlun Saintess, she took the 7 Treasures Bodhi seed and left. Only Bai Ming Han was left with a wisp of his divine soul. But Bai Ming Han was indeed worthy of being the #1 paragon 30,000 years ago. Relying on that wisp of divine soul, he comprehended heaven and earth and condensed his body. In the end, he even broke through and became a Dharma characteristic expert. But at that time, Bai Ming Han's divine soul and body actually merged with the bronze coffin miraculously. This made him unable to leave the ancient bronze coffin for the rest of his life. Furthermore, this ancient bronze coffin was also a little strange. It kept absorbing Bai Ming Han's flesh and blood essence. Bai Ming Han had been here for 30,000 years. In these 30,000 years, he broke through the Dharma characteristic realm and reached the immortal realm. He became an eternal powerhouse. But because his body had merged with the bronze coffin, he had always been in this inhuman state. Furthermore, Bai Ming Han had to absorb the flesh and blood of living beings to replenish his blood energy and maintain his life. Therefore, in these 30,000 years, anyone who barged into this hall would be, Bai Ming Han would devour them as flesh and blood. Therefore, in these 30,000 years, anyone who barged into this hall would be, almost all of them were eaten by him as food. I didn't expect that the Saintess of Kunlun would betray you for a Bodhi seed. She even caused you to become like this. Looking at Bai Ming Han, Jun Haoyan sighed. To be honest, the experience of Bai Ming Han, an unparalleled genius, was really sad. He was betrayed by the person he loved the most. Moreover, he had lived for 30,000 years in such an inhuman manner. Who could endure this kind of pain? Yes, I was betrayed by the person I trusted the most. The person I loved the most schemed against me. Ah! Hearing this, Bai Ming Han's entire body convulsed. His skinny body curled up. His teeth were about to fall out. There were only a few strands of gray hair left. His skin was shriveled and his eye sockets were sunken. He looked like an evil ghost. He couldn't even stand up straight. It had been 30,000 years. He had been tortured by time in this bronze coffin to the point that he was neither human nor ghost. Although he had become an eternal powerhouse of the immortal realm. But so what? In this life of Bai Ming Han, the first half of his life was endless glory and peerless. He stood at the peak of the eastern wasteland. In the second half of his life he was in endless darkness, in resentment, devouring flesh and blood. He was at death's door. What a tragic life. All of this made Jun Haoyan sigh. Time was like a knife cutting through a genius. Looking back at the end of time. Chapter 158. Bai Ming Han's tortuous experience would cause anyone to sigh endlessly. Jun Haoyan shook his head with a sigh. Thanks to Bai Ming Han, he had gained a new understanding of cultivation. No matter how magnificent you are, no matter how peerless you are, in the face of the endless years, it was just a small wave. Only by achieving supremacy, achieving immortality, transcending everything. Heaven and earth may collapse, but I will not perish. Eternal immortality. With these thoughts flashing through his mind, Jun Haoyan was even more determined on the path of martial arts in his heart. Just as Jun Haoyan was in a trance, an extremely violent aura suddenly shook. Feeling this aura, Jun Haoyan immediately raised his head. He suddenly realized that Bai Ming Han's eyes were suddenly bursting with a shocking light. The next moment he actually rushed towards Jun Haoyan. Bai Ming Han's speed was very fast, like a shadow flashing past. Before Jun Haoyan could react, his eagle-like hands grabbed Jun Haoyan's shoulders. Can you go out? You can definitely go out, right? Bai Ming Han grabbed Jun Haoyan's shoulders and looked at Jun Haoyan with anticipation. Allowing Bai Ming Han to grab him, Jun Haoyan did not resist. He did not sense any killing intent from Bai Ming Han. Looking at the hope in Bai Ming Han's eyes, Jun Haoyan nodded slowly and said, "Yes, I can go out." Jun Haoyan did not have any connection with the hall, so he could naturally go out. Indeed, good. Receiving Jun Haoyan's affirmative answer, Bai Ming Han smiled with relief. Then he slowly released his hands from Jun Haoyan's shoulders. But the next moment, a powerful and terrifying force suddenly emerged from Bai Ming Han's body. This power was pouring into Jun Haoyan's body through Bai Ming Han's hands. When Jun Haoyan sensed what kind of power Bai Ming Han was channeling into his body, a look of disbelief crossed his face. Bai Ming Han was not imparting his cultivation to him. He had actually moved an ancient golden tree with thousands of emerald green leaves into his body. This ancient golden tree wasn't very tall. However, regardless of whether it was the trunk or the leaves, they all emitted bursts of golden light. Just one look was enough to make one feel as if one's entire being had been sublimated. The tree was slowly entering Jun Haoyan's dantian through Bai Ming Han's body, planting a golden tree in his qi. Could this be? Looking at the ancient golden tree in his dantian, Jun Haoyan was completely shocked. When the ancient tree entered his dantian, Jun Haoyan clearly felt that his perception of the world had become clearer. He could even sense the trajectory of the world clearly. I'm sure you've already guessed it. That's right, this ancient golden tree is the world's #1 spirit root, the 7 treasures Bodhi tree. Back then, Xinyuan Jizun broke into the Nirvana mainland and snatched this peerless spirit root pavilion from the bald donkeys. He then placed it in this ancient bronze coffin. Ji Yunhan would never have thought that she would obtain a 7 treasures Bodhi seed while I obtained the entire 7 treasures Bodhi tree. Just as Jun Haoyan was in a state of shock, Bai Minghan slowly explained. Jun Haoyin was even more shocked when he heard Bai Minghan's confirmation. The ancient tree in his body was really the legendary Seven Treasures Bodhi tree. And Bai Minghan had even given him such a peerless treasure. This made Jun Haoyin feel as if he was dreaming. Holy Sun. You. Jun Haoyin was shocked and looked at Bai Minghan in confusion. You've obtained 9 Langya Holy Sun marks and the recognition of the Lord Langya. You even have a divine body. Your future is limitless. Bai Minghan revealed a terrifying smile and said slowly, I'm just a dying man. It's a waste to leave such a peerless spirit root with me. You're the best place for it. He looked at Jun Haoyin with gratification. 9 Langya Holy Sun marks. This was an achievement that even he did not achieve back then. Anyway, he was not going to live for long. He might as well leave the 7 Treasures Bodhi tree to a peerless junior like Jun Haoyin. Just like that, time passed by. Under the control of a never-wither realm expert like Bai Minghan, the 7 Treasures Bodhi tree gradually merged with Jun Haoyin's Dantian. At this moment, this peerless spirit root completely belonged to Jun Haoyin. Cough cough. Bai Minghan coughed violently after he was done. It was as if he was about to vomit blood. However, it was as if Bai Minghan had no more blood in his body. He only spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. Right now, it was as if he was only left with a skeleton. Senior. Looking at Bai Minghan's miserable state, Jun Haoyin had mixed feelings. Concentrate. I'll help you refine the divine meteorite bloodstones. Just as Jun Haoyin was about to say something, Bai Minghan spoke again. Then Bai Minghan burned the last bit of energy in his body and infused it into Jun Haoyin's body again. In an instant, the divine meteorite bloodstones turned into the purest energy and infused into Jun Haoyin's limbs and bones. The 7 Treasures Bodhi tree in his Dantian gave off thousands of rays of golden light. The enlightenment of the truth of heaven and earth and the infusion of energy in his body. 2 things at the same time. At this moment, Jun Haoyin's physical body, cultivation, and spiritual soul were all enhanced. Boom boom boom. Layers of energy were surging, and Jun Haoyin's cultivation instantly surged. Second level of the Imperial Path. Second level of the Imperial Path. Third level of the Imperial Path. Third level of the Imperial Path. Fourth level of the Imperial Path. Fourth level of the Imperial Path. Fifth level of the Imperial Path. In just an instant, Jun Haoyin's cultivation soared to the 5th level of the Imperial Path. At this moment, Jun Haoyin was in the ruins of Shenyuan Supreme, isolated from the outside world. Therefore, there was no heavenly tribulation. This also meant that on the surface, Jun Haoyin's cultivation was only at the 1st level of the Imperial Path. However, he was actually at the 5th level of the Imperial Path. As long as he went out and released his energy, the heavenly tribulation would descend. After overcoming the heavenly tribulation, Jun Haoyin would truly be at the 5th level of the Imperial Path. But even so, it didn't stop Jun Haoyin from possessing the true origin of the 5th level of the Imperial Path. The indestructible divine body that he cultivated had also improved tremendously. The second stage was the divinization of 5 million pores, which was steadily advancing toward transformation. Even the giant elephant seeds in Jun Haoyin's body were awakening crazily. From the initial 200,000, it had now reached 300,000. A total of 100,000 giant elephant seeds were awakened. At this moment, Jun Haoyin looked the same as before. However, in terms of strength, he had reached an unimaginable level. Boom. Waves of energy gradually stabilized. Jun Haoyin stood where he was and felt the power in his body. It was terrifying and peerless. Your foundation is stronger than I imagined. I'm no match for you at the same level. Haoyin, you are worthy of the name. Looking at Jun Haoyin, Bai Minghan spoke slowly. At this moment, his entire body was pale and there was no trace of blood. His aura was faint as if he was a dead person. It seemed that he had used up the last of his strength to speak. The former Holy Son of Langya had given him a great opportunity. Jun Haoyin wanted to speak. He could see that Bai Minghan's qi and blood were declining, and his lifespan was drying up. He was really about to die. However, at this moment, Bai Minghan waved his hand and stopped Jun Haoyin. I know what you're thinking. But in my current state, even a supreme being would be useless. If you really want to help me, then help me kill someone. Jiyunhan, help me kill that bitch Jiyunhan. When he said the last sentence, he had really turned into an evil spirit. It was incomparably terrifying. This was something that Bai Minghan would never be able to let go of in his life. It was also because of this peerless genius. The eternal pain in his heart. Chapter 159. All right. As he gazed at the hatred that appeared on Bai Ming Han's face, Jun Haoyin stared at him for a short while before he spoke in an extremely solemn tone. He didn't speak any heroic words. Jun Haoyin didn't make any promises. He didn't swear. But a simple word of good was better than any promise. At this moment, Jun Haoyin had set a goal for himself in his heart. It could be considered as an obstacle on his path towards the martial Tao. That was his promise to Bai Ming Han. Not to mention Bai Ming Han's identity and status as the holy son of Langya. As a junior, he ought to obey the words of his seniors. Moreover, Bai Ming Han had exhausted his entire cultivation to help him break through to the 5th level of the Imperial Tao realm. Jun Haoyin had to repay such an enormous favor. Even though he would be able to attain his current cultivation sooner or later if he absorbed the divine meteorite bloodstone. However, the 7-treasure Bodhi tree that Bai Ming Han had given him was the #1 spirit root in the world, and it was an enormous fortune for him. Bai Ming Han had done all that for Jun Haoyin, so it was sufficient for him to do something for Bai Ming Han. I believe you can do it. Bai Ming Han was naturally able to sense the determination in Jun Haoyin's voice when he heard Jun Haoyin, and he couldn't help but speak. He believed that with Jun Haoyin's potential and ability, it was only a matter of time before he surpassed Ji Yunhan. When he thought up to here, the rock in Bai Ming Han's heart finally fell to the ground. In the next moment, his body actually started to slowly dissipate. At this moment, his life had finally come to an end. Haoyin, you don't have to take my corpse back. I've devoured countless flesh and blood throughout the years, and I can't be considered a human anymore. I'm no longer worthy of the title of the Holy Son of Langya. My existence will only bring shame to the reputation of the hallowed grounds of Langya. Bai Ming Han gazed at Jun Haoyin with a wisp of a smile on his face, and his tone was filled with relief. At this moment he put down all the knots in his heart since Jun Haoyin had helped him take revenge. The monstrous hatred that had accumulated for 30,000 years was quietly released at this moment. After he finished speaking, Bai Ming Han's withered body finally fell to the ground slowly. In the next moment, Bai Ming Han's body turned back into human skin. However, it was different from before. At this moment, not a single trace of life could be felt from the human skin. Bai Ming Han had completely disappeared from this world, never to be resurrected again. Are we really not bringing him back? Looking at the human skin in the ancient bronze coffin, Jun Haoyin had a complicated look in his eyes as he muttered to himself Perhaps he could understand Bai Ming Han's feelings. As the #1 prodigy at that time, he had devoured so much flesh and blood. He was too proud to face the ancestors of the Langya Holy Land. In fact, he would rather be buried in this dark hall forever. Was this the end of the top genius of the Eastern Barren Territory for 30,000 years? Jun Haoyin quickly calculated the gains and losses in his mind. If he could bring Bai Ming Han's skin back to the Langya sacred ground, it would be a great achievement. However, doing so would go against Bai Ming Han's wishes. He had received such a great favor from Bai Ming Han. If he did so, wouldn't he be ungrateful? It could even be said that he was biting the hand that fed him. It might even affect his martial arts heart. Therefore, Jun Haoyin pondered for a long time. In the end, he decided to follow Bai Ming Han's wishes. He would let the world think that this peerless genius had died in the supreme relic 30,000 years ago. In the eyes of the future generations, Bai Ming Han was still the peerless genius of the Gaia era. At this thought, Jun Haoyin bowed slightly to the human skin. Bus. At this moment, the crisp sound of a sword suddenly rang out in the hall. Yes, holy son of Haoyin, where is that evil presence just now? It turned out that the Jade Lake Saintess Guyue Huang had woken up. Since Bai Ming Han was dead, the evil force in the hall had disappeared. Without the evil force's influence, Guyue Huang naturally woke up. I'm not sure. I also just woke up, but I found that the human skin had returned to its original state. Looking at the confused Guyue Huang, Jun Haoyin slowly explained, could it be that we entered an illusory array and everything we saw was an illusion? Jun Haoyin naturally wouldn't tell an outsider like Guyue Huang about Bai Ming Han. Phew. Should be. However, I don't seem to sense any movement of the array seal. Could it be that this array seal is too abstruse and mysterious? Hearing Jun Haoyin's explanation, Guyue Huang was slightly stunned and said uncertainly, that scene just now was really too thrilling. That monster was a peerless elite of the immortal realm. This is the 7 treasures Bodhi seed? Suddenly, Guyue Huang looked at the oval-shaped seed in her hand and said in disbelief. This seed was the divine pearl that she had touched previously. In the next moment, she immediately distanced herself from Jun Haoyin and kept her distance. She looked at Jun Haoyan cautiously. This action was undoubtedly to prevent Jun Haoyan from launching a sneak attack on her and trying to snatch the 7 treasures Bodhi seed. Hee, you don't have to have such a big reaction. This Bodhi seed is yours. I won't snatch it from you. Looking at Guyue Huang's exaggerated reaction, Jun Haoyan couldn't help but find it funny. Without Guyue Huang, he wouldn't have the ability to enter the core hall. He wouldn't have been able to see the holy son of Langya, Bai Ming Han. He wouldn't have been able to get the exceptional spiritual root in his elixir field. The 7 treasures Bodhi tree was just a seed. How could it be compared to the entire 7 treasures Bodhi tree? Hearing Jun Haoyan's words, Guyue Huang was a little embarrassed. However, this 7 treasures Bodhi seed was too precious. She would never give it up. How about this? This Bodhi seed belongs to me, but you can borrow it. Moreover, our alliance can continue to exist in the future. If you need anything in the future, I, Guyue Huang, will do my best to help you without hesitation. Guyue Huang spoke with a solemn expression as she guaranteed. In her heart, she felt that she had benefited greatly by obtaining the Bodhi seed. If she didn't do anything, she would feel a little apologetic. When Jun Haoyan heard Guyue Huang's guarantee, he was slightly stunned. Then a smile appeared on his face. This Kunlun holy maiden is really interesting. Up to you. Jun Haoyan spoke slowly, tacitly agreeing with Guyue Huang's words. Next, the two of them searched the hall, but they didn't find anything, so they directly left the hall. This time, Guyue Huang had entered Xinyuan Supreme's ruins for the Bodhi seed. Now that she had gotten what she wanted, she naturally had no other thoughts. On the other hand, Jun Haoyan was even more satisfied after obtaining a spiritual item like the 7 treasures Bodhi tree. Moreover, after he walked out of Xinyuan Supreme's ruins and passed the heavenly tribulation, he would truly be able to step into the 5th level of the Imperial Dao realm. Since he'd accomplished all his goals, Jun Haoyan naturally had to look for Jun Moyo and the others. Guyue Huang had the same plan. She intended to gather the disciples of the Jade Lake sacred ground. After all, Xinyuan Supreme's ruins were filled with danger. These fellow disciples of the Jade Lake sacred ground needed their protection. But right when the two of them walked out of the hall, bang! At this moment, Guyue Huang felt a boundless killing intent sweep over. Xing Holy Son, you're courting death. A bone-piercing cold voice sounded out from Jun Haoyan's mouth. At this moment his expression was icy cold. At the instant he left the hall, he actually sensed that Jun Moyo was in danger. Moreover, it seemed like it was the most dangerous moment now. But because of the formation in the hall just now, the will he left behind had lost its effect. So, Jun Haoyan only sensed all of this after he walked out of the hall. He found out from the will he left behind in Jun Moyo's body. Xing Holy Son was attacking Jun Moyo. This had undoubtedly touched Jun Haoyan's reverse scale. Guyue Huang looked at Jun Haoyan with astonishment, and she spoke in a slightly puzzled manner. What's wrong? Terrifying killing intent erupted from the latter's eyes, and it was like a fiend god had descended into the world. It caused Guyue Huang to be extremely shocked. The strength was truly too strong. However, Jun Haoyan paid no attention to her, and he directly transformed into a ray of light and flew out. Guyue Huang hesitated for a moment, but she still chose to follow Jun Haoyan. At this moment, in another part of Xinyuan Supreme's ruins, a myriad of rays of light shone here, and an icy cold aura raged. Xing Holy Son, Zhuozhongtong and Long Dongbua. The 3 holy sons had held the title for the first time in a row. They'd set up a shocking formation and attacked forcefully. Within the formation was Jun Moyo, who was covered in blood. Chapter 160. At this moment, a bone-chilling aura was being emitted from Jun Moyo's body. On her forehead, there was a blue lotus imprint that was shining with a dazzling light. This imprint was the source of Jun Moyo's strength. This imprint gave Jun Moyo a noble and mysterious aura. At this moment, in terms of aura, Jun Moyo wasn't inferior to Guyue Huang, who was known as the #1 goddess of the eastern wilderness. Countless snowflakes surrounded Jun Moyo and slowly drifted down. They were emitting a bone-chilling coldness. Not to mention the Yuan Dan realm. Even an Imperial Dao realm expert would probably freeze their true Yuan if they got too close to Jun Moyo. With the support of the Lotus imprint, Jun Moyo had already become incomparably tyrannical. Whether it was his physical body, soul, or true Yuan, they had all increased by more than 10 times. Even if the 3 Holy Sun hadn't used their full strength. But if the outside world found out that Jun Moyo had fought the 3 Holy Sun alone, it would be enough to shake the entire eastern wilderness. No one knew that Jun Moyo had suddenly obtained such great strength. Even Feng Xiaoyao, Dugubo, and the others looked at Jun Moyo with disbelief in their eyes. Now they could only hide behind Jun Moyo. If the three saints worked together, they would be able to make them disappear in an instant with just a casual move. Jun Moyo had blocked the three holy sun with his own strength. However, the power of the snow lotus was an external object and not his own strength. After a period of time, Jun Moyo's strength actually started to fade. At this moment, Guyue Huang's blue dress was covered in blood. She had reached a critical moment of life and death. How long has senior brother Bailey been out of the formation? Suddenly, Jun Moyu slowly opened his mouth, his voice revealing a trace of weakness. Feng Xiaoyao and Dugubo had complicated expressions as they looked at Jun Moyo, who looked like he was swaying in the wind and rain. When he was surrounded by the three holy sun and entered the formation they had set up, Bailey Shuahuang had been surrounded. Jun Moyo abruptly unleashed his tyrannical power and sent Bailey Xuanzi flying. This meant that Jun Moyo had the strength to leave. But for them he had willingly stayed here. Feng Xiaoyao looked at Jun Moyo and said slowly, "Junior brother Bailey has been out for an hour." Hearing this, Jun Moyu nodded and his expression relaxed. "Hao Yin, you should have heard the news. Don't come. These fellows joined forces because of you. Don't fall for it." The three holy sun had joined forces. In Jun Moyo's opinion, with Jun Haoyin's current strength, he was definitely no match for them. Jun Moyo knew that the three holy sun hadn't used all their strength yet because they wanted to keep them alive and lure Jun Haoyin to come. This was the result that Jun Moyo didn't want to see. Thinking of this, she looked at Feng Xiaoyao and Dugubo. "Do you regret it? Do you regret following Holy Sun Haoyin?" This sentence shocked Feng Xiaoyao and Dugubo. "Regret? Haha, junior sister Jun, you must be joking. I, Feng Xiaoyao, will never regret the person I choose." Suddenly, a relieved smile appeared on Feng Xiaoyao's face. Plus, to be able to die under the joint attack of the three holy suns is a fortunate thing. This kind of glory isn't something that just anyone can enjoy. That's right. What's there to regret? At most we'll die. Feng Xiaoyao and Dugubo looked at each other and couldn't help laughing. At this moment they were determined. They weren't afraid of the slim chance of survival. Good, Haoyin didn't choose the wrong person. Seeing this, Jun Moyo smiled with relief. At the same time, her aura became colder. At this moment, outside the array, Xiang Holy Sun, Zhuozhongtong and Long Dongbo looked at the array calmly. Behind the three of them was Fang Shilong, who had a smile on his face. After a long while, Long Dongbo said slowly, "Why isn't Hao Tian Holy Sun here yet?" He seemed to have lost his patience. "If he doesn't come, I'm afraid I won't be able to hold back an attack." Zhuozhongtong looked at the snow lotus mark on Jun Moyo's forehead with a greedy look. If he could get that thing, it would be a great fortune. "Don't worry, Hao Tian Holy Sun will definitely come back." The purple sun Saint Sun said indifferently. Looking at the array, a trace of extreme greed flashed in his eyes. With the three holy sun joining forces, Jun Haoyin would definitely die this time. Zhuozhongtong and Long Dongbo nodded when they heard this. If not for the fact that they wanted to lure Jun Haoyin here, they would have already used all their strength. They wouldn't have wasted so much time. Thinking of this, the two of them decided to continue waiting. Boom. At this moment, on the other side of the Shenyuan Supreme Ruins, there was a bloody battle going on. Bailey Xuanzi held the Moi ancient sword in his hand and was covered in blood. Waves of powerful energy blasted toward him, causing him to retreat involuntarily. He was surrounded by dozens of powerful figures. These figures were the true disciples of the Qingyun Sacred Ground and the Luotian Sacred Ground. Even though Bailey Xuanzi's swordsmanship was unparalleled, he was already severely injured in the array. Now that he was facing the true disciples of the two sacred grounds, how could he be their match? Even so, Bailey Xuanzi was still holding on. His body was already covered with ghastly wounds. Dragging his severely injured body, Bailey Xuanzi continued to move forward. Behind him was a pool of blood, but he didn't care. "Holy Sun, I must find the Holy Sun and tell him the news." Bailey Xuanzi's eyes were gradually losing their light, but he still murmured to himself in a murmur. Facing the attacks around him, he didn't retaliate at all. He just kept dodging and running away. His only goal was to tell Jun Haoyin the news of the three Holy Sun teaming up. He wanted to tell Jun Haoyin not to be fooled. He knew that when the Holy Sun became stronger, he would definitely avenge him. However, Bailey Xuanzi really searched for a long time. Even his life was being overdrawn. But he still couldn't find Jun Haoyin. Boom. At this moment, another fierce attack came from the void. Bailey Schwanza channeled his true core and tried to block it. But at this moment he was already at the end of his rope. In the next moment he was directly blasted away by this attack, and he couldn't help but spit out blood. Haha, how can you be called the #1 sword Dao genius in Langya? Bullsh *T. That's right. You have the cultivation of Yuan Dan stage 10, but you don't dare to fight back. What a piece of trash. In the void, the true disciples of Luotian's sacred ground and Qingyun's sacred ground rode on long rainbows. Each of them held a Dharma artifact and chased after Bailey Schwanza. From time to time, they would attack and penetrate Bailey Schwanza's body. But they just didn't kill Bailey Schwanza. Like a cat playing with a mouse, they wanted to play with him until he died. It seems that the holy son of Haoyan won't show up. Let's just kill him. After a while, a true disciple of Luotian's sacred ground said. It turned out that the reason they did this was to lure Jun Haoyan out. Now Bailey Schwanza's life was coming to an end. But the holy son of Haoyan still hadn't shown up. They had undoubtedly lost their patience. They planned to kill Bailey Schwanza directly. When the others heard this, they all nodded in agreement. Suddenly, everyone joined forces. With Dharma artifacts in hand, they unleashed a terrifying murderous intent. Boundless true essence surged and formed a long saber in the void. Bailey Schwanza couldn't withstand this attack at all. At this moment, Bailey Schwanza felt the terrifying aura and sighed slightly. He was very regretful. Why wasn't he stronger? That way he would definitely be able to find the Holy Sun. But there were no ifs. He felt that his life was in danger. His life was about to come to an end here. Kill. In the void, the disciples of Luotian's sacred ground and Qingyun's sacred ground shouted and activated their Dharma artifacts to kill Bailey Schwanza. It was also at this moment that the void rioted, thunder exploded, and the wind and clouds changed color. A purple figure appeared. He stood in the sky and his murderous intent surged. It was as if a demon had descended. Chapter 161. A terrifying and peerless pressure descended like a demon god that was about to destroy the world. There was a surge of primordial chi in the void. For some reason, the heavenly blade that was jointly cast by the Holy Land and the green cloud sacred ground could not move forward as if it was being obstructed. What's going on? A disciple from the Holy Land felt that something was amiss and shouted. He panicked when he realized that he could not mobilize his true origin. Everyone felt as if they were being targeted by an ancient ferocious beast. It was as if they were in hell at that moment. At that moment, everyone raised their heads. They saw that at the end of the void, a purple-robed figure was walking in the air. Behind that person, the primordial chi of heaven and earth was surging violently. His body was like a giant mountain, suppressing the heavens. The aura exuding from that person was especially breathtaking. The true disciples from the two holy lands could clearly feel that the Dharma artifacts in their hands were trembling. That person was definitely an invincible elite. That's the Holy Son of Great Heaven. At that moment, a disciple from the green cloud sacred ground recognized the person in front of him and his expression changed drastically. At the entrance of the ruins, he had witnessed the power and dominance of the Holy Son of Great Heaven with his own eyes. As soon as he said that, the disciples from the two holy lands turned pale. In the next moment, everyone subconsciously prepared to escape. At that moment, they did not have the mood to care about Bailey Schwanza. They were about to lose their lives, so why would they care about Bailey Schwanza? However, in the next moment, they realized in despair that this place seemed to have been sealed. They could not rush out at all. On the ground, Bailey Schwanza also felt that something was wrong above him. His body was trembling as he slowly raised his head and looked at the void. Then he saw a figure that seemed to hold up the sky. The Holy Sun. Looking at the peerless figure in the void, Bailey Schwanza smiled as if he was relieved. The purple-robed man in the void was naturally Jun Haoyan, who had rushed over. He landed directly and supported Bailey Schwanza. After he checked on Bailey Schwanza's injuries, his face became extremely cold. Although his life was not in danger, he was in imminent danger. All of you deserve to die. Subsequently, Jun Haoyan shifted his gaze to the pro-disciples of the Green Cloud Saint Ground and Luotian Saint Ground. The moment Jun Haoyan finished his words, heaven and earth instantly changed color, and a series of rumbling sounds rang out. Rumble. Then Jun Haoyan slowly extended his right hand, and countless golden divine lights gathered in his hand. The golden chi and blood surged violently, turning into a cauldron of chi and blood that seemed to want to melt heaven and earth. Boom. At this moment, the surrounding earth crumbled, forming a 1,000-mile-long ravine. How dare you? We're true disciples of a holy land. You can't kill us. Holy Son of Hao Yin, you can't kill us. You'll start a war between the holy lands. Holy Son of Hao Yin, we were wrong. Please forgive us. At this moment, all the true disciples of the two holy lands were pale, and even their souls seemed to be throbbing. They even tried to use their identities to threaten Jun Haotian. Unfortunately, they were disappointed. Jun Haotian frowned as if he had heard their words. He only lifted his right hand slowly. Boom. In the next moment, a giant palm suddenly appeared in the void. Boom. Jun Haotian pressed his palm down, and the giant palm seemed to be able to suppress heaven and earth as it pressed down on the true disciples of the two holy lands. Poof, 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 the boundless suppressive force crushed down, and everyone under the giant palm exploded one after another, turning into a cloud of blood mist. Not only their physical bodies, but even their spiritual souls were completely annihilated. The barren land was dyed red, and it was a ghastly sight. The power of Jun Haotian's palm had destroyed all their Dharma artifacts. At this moment, Jun Haotian had the support of the indestructible divine constitution and the 300,000 seeds of the giant elephant in his body. The power that could be unleashed in an instant was immeasurable. Jun Haotian was confident that with his current strength, he could defeat the younger generation of the eastern wilderness. Just like Baiming Han, the holy son of Langya in the past. From the moment Jun Haotian appeared until now, he had only used one palm. The true disciples of the Luotian sacred ground and the Green Cloud sacred ground were all annihilated. Not even a single limb was left behind. After casually killing the true disciples of the two holy lands, Jun Haotian's figure flashed and directly appeared next to Bailey Xuanzi. He took out some healing elixirs from the spatial ring and gave them to Bailey Xuanzi. At this moment, Guyue Huang's figure slowly appeared in the void above. Earlier, she happened to see the scene where Jun Haotian destroyed the true disciples of the two holy lands with one palm. She looked at Jun Haotian and was surprised. Although she did not spend much time with Jun Haotian, she knew that although Jun Haotian was powerful, he rarely got angry like this. Just now, Jun Haotian was like a demon, wantonly massacring the living beings. What did the people of the Luotian sacred ground and the Green Cloud sacred ground do to make the Holy Sun so angry? Guyue Huang muttered to herself. She did not know why, but she had a bad feeling in her heart. The trip to the Xinyuan Supreme Relic this time would probably cause rivers of blood to flow in the various holy lands. Thinking of this, Guyue Huang directly appeared next to Jun Haotian. For the sake of the Bodhi bead, if Jun Haotian needed help, she would lend a helping hand. Holy Sun Ziyang, Ziyang Holy Sun, Donghua Holy Sun, and Wudao Holy Sun have jointly set up a formation and are waiting for you to come to them. You must not be fooled. You must not go. After taking the elixir, Bailey Xuanzi recovered a little and said to Jun Haotian with difficulty. Alright, stop talking and have a good rest. Jun Haotian naturally knew what Bailey Xuanzi wanted to say and interrupted him impatiently. One could not tell whether he was happy or angry. Then he looked at Guyue Huang and said slowly, "Help me take care of him." Guyue Huang was stunned when she heard that. Jun Haotian's words did not reveal any joy or anger. However, Guyue Huang felt that Jun Haotian was like the king of hell at this moment, making people tremble in fear. Even she felt a chill in her heart from the endless murderous intent that was invisible. "What are you going to do?" Guyue Huang asked carefully. "Kill." Jun Haotian said coldly. Guyue Huang was shocked when she heard that. She naturally knew who Jun Haotian was going to kill. It was the Holy Sun. What kind of existence was the Holy Sun? He was the most powerful genius of a sacred ground. He was also one of the most respected figures of a sacred ground. The death of any one of them would cause a sacred ground to go crazy. At this moment, Jun Haotian seemed to be fearless. He directly said that he wanted to kill the Holy Sun. "You." Just as she was about to say something, Jun Haotian had already disappeared on the spot. Guyue Huang stood up with a solemn expression. "Jade Lake Saintess, quickly stop the Holy Sun." He cough. Bailey Xuanzi looked at Jun Haotian's departing figure and hurriedly said to Guyue Huang. However, Guyue Huang just shook her head. She was also helpless. She could not stop Jun Haotian from making a decision. Thinking of this, she raised a jade talisman. This was used to contact the disciples of the Jade Lake sacred ground and was very rare. In the ruins of Xinyuan Supreme, only the people of the Jade Lake sacred ground had it. The people of the Jade Lake sacred ground will take care of you. As for your Holy Son, I will try my best to keep an eye on him. After saying this, Guyue Huang also turned into a stream of light and disappeared. She knew that no matter who was in trouble, it was a big deal. At that time, the consequences would be unimaginable. Chapter 162. Jun Moyo, your power must have reached its limit. In the vast void, Xiang Holy Sun looked down at the formation and said slowly. There was a smile on his face as if everything was under his control. Beside him, the two Holy Sun, Long Dongbua and Zhuozhongtong, were also standing in the void. The three Holy Sun were all exuding a terrifying aura. It set off a wave of primordial qi in the void, wild and violent. Inside the formation, it was as if a peerless demon was awakening. A bone-piercing chill erupted from the formation and swept out in all directions. In the void, everything seemed to be frozen by this chill. Even the formation that the three Holy Sun had set up together was covered by a thick layer of ice. But if one observed carefully, they would find that the chill was gradually fading. The temperature in the void was also slowly rising. All these signs were enough to show that the power in Jun Moyo's body was quickly dissipating. At this moment, the people of the Langya Holy Land inside the formation were all relying on Jun Moyo's power to survive for the time being. Once the power in Jun Moyo's body completely disappeared, the disciples of the Langya Holy Land inside the formation would be completely reduced to lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Whether it was Feng Xiaoyao or Dugu Bo, only death would await them. It was completely beyond their control. The three Holy Sun teaming up was too powerful. A single saint would be able to completely defeat them. Not to mention the three Holy Sun teaming up. That's right, so what? Hearing Xiang Holy Sun's words, a mocking smile appeared on Jun Moyo's face. At this moment, Jun Moyo was very different from how he was before. He was even more indifferent than before. All of this seemed to be because of the snow lotus mark on his forehead. Jun Moyo, I know what you're planning. Don't worry, even if Haoyan Holy Sun doesn't come, we'll go look for him. By the way, I have to remind you that in addition to the three of us, the Alcade Holy Sun is also waiting for Haoyan Holy Sun. Looking at Jun Moyo's beautiful face, Long Dongbua said slowly. When Jun Moyo heard this, his brows furrowed. The Alcade Holy Sun was known to be the second most powerful in the eastern wilderness. If he attacked, Jun Haoyan would most likely die. Despicable? Peerless geniuses? You're just a bunch of treacherous villains. Jun Moyo's face was incomparably cold, and the aura on his body began to surge once again. The horrifying chill seemed to freeze even the primordial qi in the void. But after a while, this power's power weakened once again. At this moment, Jun Moyo was really at the end of his rope. Since Haoyan Holy Sun doesn't dare to show up, we might as well not wait and attack directly. Zhuozhongtong said as he narrowed his eyes, which flashed with endless coldness. Xiang Holy Sun frowned when he heard this. He had been preparing for this for a long time. But if Jun Haoyan didn't come, all his efforts would be in vain. Xiang, don't worry. As long as the two of us get the benefits, I'll still help you deal with Haoyan Holy Sun. Long Dongbua said when he saw Xiang Holy Sun's hesitation. Forget it, we'll do as you say. Xiang Holy Sun nodded helplessly when he heard this. He was unwilling to give up. He thought Jun Haoyan was a fearless person, but he didn't expect that he wouldn't dare to show up. He had misjudged him. After getting Xiang Holy Sun's agreement, Long Dongbua and Zhuozhongtong looked at each other and immediately started to attack the Grand Formation. Boom! In an instant, the Grand Formation changed, and boundless dense blood-red aura appeared. Every single strand of blood-red aura was capable of causing an Imperial Dao Realm expert to be badly battered. And there were thousands of strands of blood-red aura like this within the Grand Formation. Feng Xiaoyao and Dugu Bo's expressions changed completely. They didn't hesitate at all and prepared to fight to the death, even though they knew that it might not work. But the two of them absolutely wouldn't sit still and wait for death. Sizzle, but at this moment, the two of them felt an even colder aura. Their expressions changed as they looked at Jun Moyo. At this moment, the snow lotus mark on her forehead had disappeared. Replacing it was a pair of cold eyes that were filled with blue light. At this moment, Jun Moyo seemed to have changed into a different person. There wasn't a trace of emotion on her face and she was like a goddess. Jun Moyo slowly raised his head as he stood within the Grand Formation. Boom! The heavens and the earth shook as snowflakes fluttered and shot out boundless blue light. The light pierced through everything and seemed capable of destroying the world. Shit! The energy within Jun Moyo's body has completely awakened. Xiang Holy Sun's expression changed drastically when he saw this scene. The energy within Jun Moyo's body. No one knew what the consequences would be once it awakened. Long Dongbua and Zhuozhongtong's expressions changed drastically as well as Xiang Holy Sun's. Within the Grand Formation, Jun Moyo stretched out his hand and lightly swiped at the space before him. Bang! In the next moment, the grand formation that the three Holy Sun had set up with their combined strength actually collapsed. This scene instantly caused everyone present to be extremely astounded. This was a grand formation that the three Holy Sun had set up together. Jun Moyo had destroyed it with just a light swipe? After that, Jun Moyo stretched out his finger again and slowly pointed at the space before him. In an instant, a blue pillar of light shot out from the sky above the Shenyuan Supreme Ruins. Then Jun Moyo slowly walked into the pillar of light. In the next moment, a shocking scene happened. Jun Moyo actually disappeared into the blue pillar of light. It seemed like she had completely left the Shenyuan Supreme Ruins. No one could sense her aura anymore. What's going on? Seeing this scene, Xiang Holy Sun and the others were stunned and in disbelief. Sister. However, at this moment, a shocking roar sounded. Explosions rang out in the area of 1,000 miles. Fang Shilong, Xiang Holy Sun, Long Donghua, and Zhuozhongtong all turned their heads. Holy Sun Haotian. The four of them spoke as they looked at the distant void. A purple-robed figure walked out just like that, stepping on the void with an awe-inspiring aura. At this moment, Jun Haotian also felt the abnormality in the world. He guessed that it was because Jun Moyo had released the power of the mark in her body without any scruples. However, at this moment, Jun Moyo's aura, including the mark he had left on her body, had disappeared. He couldn't even find her aura. Jun Haotian's eyes were filled with killing intent. After using that power, even he didn't know what would happen. If it wasn't a life-and-death crisis, why would Jun Moyo use it? Holy Sun, junior sister Jun? She's gone. At this moment, the voices of Feng Xiaoyao and the others could be heard. Hearing this, Jun Haotian could no longer suppress the anger in his heart. He thought that he had arrived in time. But he didn't expect something like this would happen. His sister Jun Moyo was gone. He didn't know if she was alive or dead. And all of this was caused by these people in front of him. He turned his gaze to the Purple Sun, Saint Sun and the others. He said expressionlessly, "I don't know what you did to my sister." Jun Haotian walked step by step towards Xiang Holy Sun. With one step, the river was about to reverse. In short, all of you will die today. At this moment, a vast and boundless killing intent swept through the sky. Chapter 163. Jun Haotian was not sure if Jun Moyo's life was in danger. However, the people in front of him had forced him into such a state. In Jun Haotian's opinion, death was the only way to atone for his sins. In the void, every step he took was accompanied by the rhythm of heaven and earth. A vast murderous intent swept across the entire firmament. Holy Sun, no. Feng Xiaoyao and Dugu Bo were shocked when they saw Jun Haotian's actions. They shouted and rushed toward Jun Haotian. They tried to stop him. Feng Xiaoyao, Dugu Bo, if the two of you still want to follow me, stand down. At this moment, Jun Haotian spoke slowly, his tone carrying a trace of unquestionable authority. Feng Xiaoyao and Dugu Bo froze on the spot. Then the two of them looked at each other. Helplessness flashed in their eyes as they slowly backed away. They knew that there was no way they could stop Jun Haotian today. Boom. In the next moment, Jun Haotian appeared in front of Xiang Holy Sun and the others. Today this will be the place where the three of you will die. Jun Haotian said slowly. It was as if he was making an oath. It was intimidating. Xiang Holy Sun, Long Donghua, and the other two were already furious when they realized that Jun Moyo had disappeared. But now, this reckless clear sky saint actually dared to take the initiative to show himself and even dared to provoke them. Holy Sun, you're digging your own grave, Zhuozhongtong said. He was wearing golden armor and took out a long spear. Powerful true essence vibrations revolved around his body. At this moment he had turned into a god of war. He did not care about Jun Haotian's murderous intent. Jun Moyo ran away. I can only vent my anger on you. At this moment Long Donghua's face was cold as he slowly spoke. As soon as he finished speaking, rays of green light bloomed around his body. Then he opened his right palm and a green flower slowly appeared in his palm. True essence was poured into it, and in a moment the green lotus in Long Dongbo's hand grew to a size of 10,000 feet. Judging from its aura, this green lotus was actually a supreme-grade dermic weapon. The power contained within was simply terrifying to the extreme. You didn't disappoint me after all. You came even though you knew it was a dead end. Xiang Holy Sun said softly as he looked at Jun Haotian. At that moment, his heart was filled with boundless killing intent. As for Jun Moyo, he had been plotting for a long time. But now all his efforts had been for naught. He was truly unable to accept this, and he was more furious than anyone else. After hearing the three of them speak, Jun Haoyan slowly raised his eyes. Sharp killing intent flickered in the void. 300,000 ancient mammoths roared within his body. They appeared in the world, carrying the golden sun on their backs, stepping into the eternal hell. At the same time, phantoms of demons walked out from the boundless sea of blood on Jun Haoyan's body. It was directly added to his physical body. A demon lord with 3,000 hands holding 3,000 worlds, dominating the world. With all his means, Jun Haoyan directly punched down without hesitation. Boom. This punch was like an apocalyptic catastrophe. The space shattered and mountains and rivers collapsed. It directly shattered thousands of miles of area. Wherever the fist passed, the earth was turned into ashes. It set off a violent sandstorm. Above the endless sky, even the clouds were blasted by this punch. Jun Haoyan's punch was like an ancient god of war awakening, suppressing heaven and earth. Rumble. At that moment, Xiang Holy Sun and the other two suddenly felt a strong sense of danger. In the next moment, without any hesitation, the three of them attacked Jun Haoyan at the same time. Zhuozhongtong's right hand shook, and the golden spear in his hand suddenly became 10,000 feet long. He stabbed toward Jun Haoyan's body, trying to pierce through Jun Haoyan's body. The power of this move was enough to penetrate thousands of miles of mountains and rivers. On the other side, the green lotus above Longdong Bo's head surged out of the green lotus, wreaking havoc between heaven and earth. Behind Xiang Holy Sun, a purple sun rose, and the purple light illuminated heaven and earth. The endless purple divine light was vast and boundless, burning the sky and boiling the sea. The three holy sun attacked together, and their power was earth-shattering. But in the face of all this, Jun Haoyan's expression did not change, and his body did not move. At that moment, a huge amount of essence surged out of his body. Wisps of golden qi and blood surged around him, setting off waves of primordial qi. Boom. The terrifying battle between the four holy sun had just begun, and it was already so terrifying. Such a battle was naturally earth-shattering. Nearby martial artists, even those who were thousands of miles away, rushed over one after another. At that moment, Jade Lake St. Guyue Huang stood in the void, watching the battle between the four. The battle has already begun. I'm still too late. Guyue Huang sighed. After a long while, she decided that if Jun Haoyan's life was in danger, she would definitely help. At that moment, countless martial artists rushed over from all directions. Everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. Look, oh my god, Holy Sun Haoyan is fighting Xiang Holy Sun, Donghua Holy Sun, and Wudao Holy Sun alone. Isn't that a little too overbearing? Those are three holy suns we're talking about. What's going on? Why are they fighting? Watching the great battle between the four saints in the sky, everyone felt their hearts skip a beat. For so many years, the various holy lands had lived together in peace. Now, a battle between the Holy Sun had broken out in the Supreme Being's ruins. Judging from the power, it seemed like they would fight to the death. The void was rioting. Every punch from Jun Haoyan could be said to be able to suppress heaven and earth and destroy all evil. Even when facing the three holy sun, his true origin was strong enough to suppress everything. This situation was unimaginable to Long Donghua and the others. How can he be so powerful? Xiang, didn't you say that he just broke through to the Imperial Dao realm? Long Donghua and Zhuozhongtong spoke with disbelief. Jun Haoyan was actually able to resist their artifacts with just a pair of fists. What a terrifying fleshly body. He must have obtained a supreme fortune in the Supreme Being's ruins. Let's kill him together and take his fortune. Xiang Holy Sun was also shocked. He never expected that after joining forces with the two Holy Sun, they would still be suppressed by Jun Haoyan. A supreme fortune in the Supreme Being's ruins? Long Donghua and Zhuozhongtong's eyes lit up when they heard that, and they looked at Jun Haoyan with burning gazes. They couldn't obtain Jun Moyo, but obtaining the fortune left behind by the Supreme Being was also not bad. He immediately attacked with all his strength, and the golden spear shot out a shocking light. Such terrifying power. Countless people below trembled and their faces turned pale. The Holy Sun was the Holy Sun. His strength was terrifying beyond compare. Zhuozhongtong's spear was aimed at piercing Jun Haoyan's sea of qi. Jun Haoyan naturally sensed all of this. His eyes were filled with a boundless aura of the underworld. He had turned into the Lord of Hell. In the next moment, the Nether God's spear appeared in his hand. It was different from Zhuozhongtong's golden spear. Countless evil runes were engraved on the nether god spear, and countless evil spirits rushed out. Heaven and earth essence chi collapsed and surged into the nether god spear. Jun Haoyan had transformed into the lord of the nether god, the lord of hell. He directly attacked Zhuozhongtong with the nether god spear in his hand. On the nether god spear there were tongues, cauldrons of oil, icebergs, blood pools and so on. A total of 18 hells appeared between heaven and earth. Dark clouds covered the world for thousands of miles and black lightning swept through. Countless people felt their scalps go numb and their bodies went limp. It was as if they had entered hell. The golden spear in Zhuozhongtong's hand instantly shattered. At this moment he was scared out of his wits and his body was torn apart. Chapter 164. Be careful. Xiang Holy Sun's pupils constricted when he saw this scene. Long Dongguo's expression changed drastically when he sensed the power of Jun Haoyan's move. Jun Haoyan's move made even them feel that their lives were in danger. By the time they realized this, it was already too late. No one had expected Jun Haoyan to use such a terrifying move. Zhuozhongtong knew very well that he couldn't block this move no matter what. He wanted to escape but he realized that he couldn't. Just like that, the nether deity spear continued to enlarge in his eyes. Everyone below also saw this shocking scene. The nether deity spear pierced through the golden armor. Zhuozhongtong's heart was directly pierced through by the nether deity spear. The powerful impact sent Zhuozhongtong's body flying thousands of meters away. He then crashed into a huge cliff. Scarlet blood gushed out from his chest. The cliff behind him was dyed crimson red. Zhuozhongtong originally thought that no matter how strong Jun Haoyan was, he would still be able to defeat Jun Haoyan. He thought that he should be able to fight him. It was because of this confidence that he dared to attack Jun Haoyan without any fear. But now he realized that he was ridiculously wrong. Jun Haoyan's strength was far beyond his imagination. It was not something he could fight against at all. The nether deity spear seemed to suppress this world. It was like a song that crossed time and space. It suddenly descended. Above the nether deity spear, 18 layers of hell faintly appeared. It was as if the real nether realm had been summoned to the mortal realm. Zhuozhongtong felt his entire body tense up, and his blood and qi shook. Blood kept seeping out of his pores. His body cracked open like a piece of ceramic. The nether deity spear appeared, carrying a dense aura of hell. This aura seemed to want to wipe out all living beings in the world. As the holy son of the all-heaven saint, Zhuozhongtong's strength was extraordinary. However, Jun Haoyan's move was enough to kill an ordinary Transcendence Realm expert. How could Zhuozhongtong resist with his mere strength at the Imperial Dao realm? At this moment, his soul was destroyed. Endless amounts of blood gushed out from his body, causing everyone to be shocked. At this moment, everyone was within autarch Xuanyuan's ruins. This place was isolated from the Wuxian continent. The Holy Sun's imprint in their bodies did not work at all. Just like that, the dignified Holy Sun of the all-heaven Holy Land was nailed to the cliff. The scene before their eyes caused everyone to be overwhelmed with shock. Too terrifying. I didn't expect the Holy Sun of Hao Haoyan to be so powerful. Rumor has it that when he took over the Holy Sun's throne, he was only a Yuan Dan cultivator. Why is his strength so terrifying now? Everyone below was discussing animatedly, their voices trembling slightly. They really couldn't calm down. The scene before his eyes was enough to cause a huge commotion in the martial god continent. While everyone was still in a state of shock, Yi Zichen's expression changed drastically. Jun Haoyan's killing intent locked onto the Holy Sun and Dongbo Holy Sun. You don't have to be so surprised. It's your turn next. Jun Haoyan said softly. His voice was hoarse, like the whisper of a demon. At the same time, a shocking killing intent erupted from Jun Haoyan's body. Feeling the killing intent, Long Dongbo's soul trembled, and he unconsciously revealed a look of fear. Although he knew that he was no match for Jun Haoyan, as the holy son of the Qingyun sacred ground. His status was extremely noble and he was a peerless genius. No matter how strong Jun Haoyan was, he still wanted to fight. Ziyang, show us all your trump cards. Otherwise, you and I will die here today. Long Dongbo knew that if they were to fight alone, they would definitely not be a match for Jun Haoyan. The only outcome was that they would be defeated one by Jun Haoyan and killed one by one. Now they only had one choice and that was to use all their trump cards and fight to the death. At this moment, the green lotus in Long Dongbo's hand shrunk. It turned into the size of a particle and shot out thousands of green divine lights. Green lotus soul destruction. Long Dongbo muttered under his breath, and the thousands of green divine lights converged into an extremely small silk thread. This was also a supreme divine power. Moreover, it was a supreme divine power that specialized in attacking one's soul. Under the activation of Long Dong Bo's supreme-grade magic weapon, its power was even more earth-shattering. For a moment, it was as if heaven and earth had slowed down. Long Dong Bo transformed into a green light and rushed into Jun Haoyan's soul in a split second. This kind of method was soundless and incomparably terrifying. When everyone came to their senses, Long Dong Bo had already turned into a surge of soul energy and entered Jun Haoyan's soul ocean. Oh no, Dong Bo's holy son has always been famous for his powerful soul energy. Haoyan's holy son is in danger. In the distance, Jade Lake Sengu Yuehuang saw this scene and her expression changed drastically. A soul energy attack specialized in attacking one's soul. No matter how strong Jun Haoyan's physical body was, it was useless. At this moment, Feng Xiaoyao and Dugu Bo's faces turned pale. If the holy son died, how could they continue living? I'm afraid Haoyan's holy son is going to die. Even the light-shaking holy son can't say that he can withstand this soul energy attack from Dong Bo's holy son. What's more, the purple sun saint is guarding him. Sigh, although Haoyan's holy son is unparalleled, he's still too young. In the void, the Kunlun holy daughter wore a veil and a blood-red dress. As the Kunlun holy daughter, her strength was also unparalleled. Especially in terms of soul energy cultivation, she was even stronger than Long Dong Bo. She could be said to be the #1 soul cultivator in the Eastern Wilderness younger generation. In addition, her cultivation level in martial arts was not much lower than that of the light-shaking holy sun. She was also a true peerless prodigy. Her words. The hearts of the Langya holy daughter's disciples sank to the bottom. Is that so? I don't think so. Right at that moment, another woman spoke. She was shrouded in mist, and her face could not be seen clearly. Even her aura could not be felt. The Linglong holy daughter. The personal disciple of the Linglong holy daughter, the most powerful person in the Eastern Wilderness. She was known as the second Linglong. It was rumored that her strength was comparable to that of the Kunlun holy sun. She was also a very powerful person. Countless people did not know what to say after hearing these two people's answers. They could only wait quietly. But in the next moment, Jun Haoyan's body moved, affecting the hearts of countless people. At this moment in his soul sea, Long Dong Bo's soul was trembling. It was as if he had sensed a terrifying aura. Because in front of him, a soul emperor tens of thousands of feet tall sat high in the sky, looking down on everything. This was Jun Haoyan's soul. Its strength was thousands of times greater than his. Long Dong Bo's soul attack was a joke to Jun Haoyan. In the soul sea, the divine emperor of the 9 heavens who represented Jun Haoyan's soul, stood up gently. It was as if a peerless reaper had walked out. Facing Long Dong Bo's soul, he gently made a move. Sizzle, in the next moment Long Dong Bo's soul was completely crushed. And in the outside world, everyone saw a strange scene. Jun Haoyan opened his eyes and Long Dong Bo, who was opposite him, suddenly fell down. When he hit the ground, all the life aura in his body dissipated. Countless people's faces turned pale. Another holy son died. And the way he died was so strange. Everyone looked at Jun Haoyan's purple-robed figure in the void. Their bodies trembled. It was as if that was a peerless demon who had stepped over mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Purple sun illuminates the sky. While everyone was still in shock, the purple sun Saint Sun took out a supreme mystique. At this moment, there was a brilliant purple sun rising around him, towering above the clouds. He turned into the only purple sun in the world, and the vast purple sun illuminated the boundless void. Before Jun Haoyan could react, Xiang Holy Sun chose to launch a sneak attack. At this moment, everyone held their breath and looked at Xiang Holy Sun. Chapter 165. No one had expected Xiang Holy Sun to be so insidious as to choose this moment to attack. He was the Holy Sun, the most respected being in the Langya Holy Land. He was the top prodigy of the Eastern Wilderness. Moreover, Xiang Holy Sun had always been known for his arrogance. If it were any other time, Xiang Holy Sun would never team up with others to deal with someone else. But now, Xiang Holy Sun had done something so insidious as to attack someone from behind. This was a critical moment in the battle between Jun Haoyan and Dong Bo Holy Sun's divine soul. Even though Holy Sun had destroyed Dong Bo Holy Sun's divine soul, he had been stunned for a moment. The purple sun Saint Sun had seized this opportunity to make a strong move. This kind of action could be said to be extremely insidious. Even if Xiang Holy Sun won this battle, he would still be despised by the world. But despite knowing this, Xiang Holy Sun still chose to do it. In his eyes, Jun Haoyan was too big of a threat. If he did not seize this opportunity now, he would never be able to make a comeback in the future. In order to get rid of this thorn in his side, losing a little bit of reputation was nothing. At this moment, Xiang Holy Sun did not care about this at all. In the next moment, Xiang Holy Sun channeled all his true yuan, and the huge purple sun behind him shone brightly. This was Xiang Holy Sun's supreme theurgy. With Xiang Holy Sun's current strength, he was still unable to display the true power of this supreme theurgy. But the power he was displaying now was still unparalleled. After all, this was a supreme theurgy. After Xiang Holy Sun used it, endless divine light flashed in the void. It was extremely dazzling. In the blink of an eye, Xiang Holy Sun appeared in front of Jun Haoyan. At this moment, the gigantic purple sun behind his back smashed down towards Jun Haoyan in an extremely violent manner. It was like a star falling from the 9 heavens, carrying with it the power to destroy the world. Rumble. It was as if the entire world was shaking. Everyone was shocked to the core. Regardless of whether Xiang Holy Sun's actions were despicable or not, based on the capabilities he displayed, he was worthy of being called a heaven's favorite. Just as the meteor-like giant sun was about to smash down on Jun Haoyan suddenly stopped. Everyone was stunned to find that Jun Haoyan slowly raised his head. There was actually a cold smile on his face. Xiang Holy Sun couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine when he saw the boundless killing intent in his eyes. But at this critical moment, Jun Haoyan moved. Under everyone's gaze, Jun Haoyan slowly raised his right hand. A vast aura flowed out from the other palms. The golden aura around him was like 100,000 volcanoes erupting. It was horrifying. Facing the purple sun that was about to smash down, Jun Haoyan didn't make any extra movements. The next moment, the esoteric character of all was activated, and his combat strength was increased tenfold. Boom. At this moment, Jun Haoyan once again turned into a divine emperor in the 9 heavens. He raised his hand and punched out. Suddenly, the world seemed to have become extremely silent. Countless people's divine souls were trembling. They felt like they were in a storm. The next moment, they would be torn apart. This terrifying aura stretched for thousands of miles. It was vast and boundless. Outside, the Kunlun Saintess and the Linglong Saintess, who had always been calm, were also shocked. Xiang Holy Sun's capabilities seemed to be beyond their imagination. Boom. The next moment, the giant purple sun was directly shattered by Jun Haoyan's punch. Xiang Holy Sun's strongest move that he had used all his strength to perform couldn't even withstand Jun Haoyan's attack. Seeing this, Xiang Holy Sun's face turned pale, and the aura in his body became chaotic. Just the aftershock of the punch just now was enough to severely injure his body. The next moment, Xiang Holy Sun spat out a mouthful of blood and retreated thousands of meters away. He looked at Jun Haoyan with fear in his eyes. It was too terrifying. At this moment he was really scared. Impossible, how can you be so powerful? Xiang Holy Sun's face turned pale as he looked at the purple figure in the distance. He suddenly realized how ridiculous it was that he had joined forces with the 2 Holy Sun to kill Jun Haoyan. This person was way beyond his imagination. He was someone that no one could fight against. Run. Suddenly, an idea came to Xiang Holy Sun's mind. At this moment he was no match for Jun Haoyan at all. There was only one way to stay here and continue the fight. With that thought, Xiang Holy Sun did not hesitate. The next moment he turned into a purple sun and fled into the distance like a shooting star. At this moment he really did not want to face Jun Haoyan. He did not even want to go back to the Langya Holy Ground. Xiang Holy Sun's action stunned many people. Xiang Holy Sun he ran away? 3 Holy Sun teamed up, and 2 died and 1 escaped? What kind of battle record is that? No, that Holy Sun doesn't seem to want to let Xiang Holy Sun go. At this moment, countless people once again focused their attention on Jun Haoyan. Looking at the purple sun in the distance, Jun Haoyan smiled coldly. However, Jun Haoyan did not give chase. He did not even move. After the purple sun had escaped far away, Jun Haoyan slowly raised his hand. Viram. The next moment, a blood-red divine bow with all kinds of demons and ancient words engraved on it appeared. The sun-slaying divine bow had appeared. 1 arrow could kill Buddha and immortals. It was a divine weapon that had once killed a supreme being. Boom. In an instant the entire world shook. Many people felt their scalps go numb and their hair stood on end. Even the Kunlun Saintess opened her eyes. She felt a sense of danger. As for the Jade Lake Saintess Guyua Huang, she was shocked. It turned out that Jun Haoyin had never shown his true strength in front of her. Looking at the purple sun in the sky, Jun Haoyin held the bow with his left hand and pulled the string with his right. In the next moment, the essence chi in the world within a radius of thousands of miles went berserk and roared. It set off a torrent of essence chi and the world changed color. Thousands of black thunderbolts flashed and were about to strike. Jun Haoyin made his move and pulled the sun-slaying divine bow to the fullest. Virum. A golden arrow was formed, and there were countless blood-red thunderbolts on it. Sizzle, sizzle. Jun Haoyin pulled the sun-slaying divine bow to the fullest. A power that could destroy the world suddenly enveloped the entire world. At this moment, everyone felt that their divine souls were frozen. Heaven and earth had also turned dark gray. Jun Haoyin held the bow and arrow and aimed at the purple sun in the sky. Boom! Suddenly he let go of the arrow. The world roared and the earth shook. Countless people were on the verge of collapse. In the distance, Xiang Holy Sun, who had already escaped far away, suddenly became crazy. At this moment he felt that his body and divine soul had been locked onto by some kind of lethal weapon. At the moment of life and death, Xiang Holy Sun slowly turned his head. He saw the last scene of his life. It was a golden arrow. In the next moment, the terrifying golden arrow shattered his physical body and crushed his soul. As for the purple sun that he had transformed into, it instantly collapsed. In the distance, countless people watched this scene in disbelief. Everyone could only see a giant purple sun exploding into pieces. Then bright red flesh and purple light intertwined. Blood dyed the sky red. Jun Haoyin stood in the void in his purple robe. His eyes were calm and peerless. He looked magnificent and dazzling. However, no one would appreciate such a scene. They only felt a deep sense of horror. Among countless people, that was a demon. He must not be provoked. Chapter 166. The Xiang Holy Sun had fallen. Not even his corpse was left behind. The scene of him fleeing before his death served as a foil to Jun Haoyin's peerless demeanor. An existence like the Holy Sun had disappeared from the world just like that. It was like a stepping stone on the path of a peerless powerhouse. Other than that, there was nothing else. At this moment, everyone was shocked to the point of numbness. They looked at Jun Haoyin, their hearts filled with endless emotions. 1 against 3, and he had killed the 3 Holy Sun. Such a glorious battle record was enough to make Jun Haoyin the highest ranking in the Wuxian continent. At this moment, even the arrogant Kunlun Saintess kept her mouth shut. Jun Haoyin's arrow had given him a strong sense of danger. Judging from the strength that the Holy Sun of Haoyin had displayed in this battle, there were only a handful of people in the entire eastern wilderness who could fight him. Just when everyone thought that this matter had come to an end, someone noticed that Jun Haoyin had moved again. His gaze was slowly fixed on Fang Shilong. Fang Shilong's strength was only at the pinnacle of Yuan Dan. Compared to the 3 Holy Sun, he was naturally much weaker. Looking at Fang Shilong, Jun Haoyin's eyes revealed an obvious murderous intent. Jun Haoyin had learned from Feng Xiaoyao. Fang Shilong had played an important role in this matter. Although the mastermind had been killed, there was no need to keep Fang Shilong, the lackey, alive. Holy Son of Haoyin, what do you want? Feeling Jun Haoyin's gaze, Fang Shilong felt a chill in his heart. The person in front of him had just killed the 3 Holy Sun. How could Fang Shilong not be afraid in the face of such a murderous god? They're all dead. It's time for you to go. Jun Haoyin spoke slowly, his tone emotionless. Holy Son of Haoyin, you can't kill me. My Holy Son is on his way. If you kill me, my Holy Son will not let you go. Hearing that, Fang Shilong's heart trembled. My Holy Son is known as the second strongest person in the eastern wilderness. If you kill me, he will not let you go. Being stared at by Jun Haoyin's murderous eyes, Fang Shilong was on the verge of collapse. At this moment he could no longer think properly and was speaking incoherently. In the eyes of the people below, he was like a fool. Who was the clear sky saint's son? Now everyone knew his style of doing things. The other party did not even care about the identities of the 3 Holy Sons and directly killed them. Fang Shilong was just a true disciple. Why would the clear sky saint's son care? As expected, Fang Shilong's words had no effect. In the next moment, Jun Haoyin took a step forward. Boom! For a moment, the entire area was shaking. He opened his palms slightly. Endless heaven and earth origin chi was gathering, as if a peerless demon had come out. Feng Shilong felt that his body was being imprisoned. All the blood in his body had stopped flowing. He could not even use the true origin qi in his dantian. His yuan dan was cracking inch by inch. The holy son of Hao Yin had only released a wisp of his aura, but it was enough to severely injure Feng Shilong, who was at the peak of yuan dan. This was the power of a peerless prodigy. Holy son of Hao Yin, stop. At this moment, a thunderous explosion came from the sky. Everyone looked toward the source of the sound. They saw a man in white appear in the sky. He was like a deity who had walked out of the heavens, displaying his invincible aura. The hearts of everyone below trembled when they saw the white-clothed man. The second strongest person in the eastern wilderness. It was the holy son of the light-shaking realm. The holy son of the light-shaking realm stepped through the air and looked at Jun Haoyin, his eyes flashing with boundless golden light. Sensing the holy son of the light-shaking realm, Jun Haoyin's hand paused for a moment. In the next moment he struck out with his right hand. Boom! A bloody scene unfolded. Feng Shilong, who was at the peak of yuan dan, was smashed into pieces by Jun Haoyin's palm. His body exploded and a rain of blood sprayed out. Jun Haoyin's attitude was as if he had just stepped on an ant. Holy son of Haoyin, how dare you go against my words? The holy son of the light-shaking realm was shocked when he saw this scene, and he immediately shouted. In an instant he appeared in front of Jun Haoyin. His black hair danced in the wind and a golden glow appeared in his eyes. A vast amount of true origin qi vibrated around his body. His cultivation at the peak of the 9th level of the Imperial Dao realm swept out, as if it could suppress the heavens and earth. Boundless rays of light shot out from his body. The holy son of the light-shaking realm stood in front of Jun Haoyin like a god. At this moment his eyes were filled with boundless killing intent. Go against your words? At this moment, Jun Haoyin slowly turned around and looked at the holy son of the light-shaking realm. Who do you think you are? Why can't I go against your words? Jun Haoyin said slowly with a hint of mockery at the corner of his mouth. As soon as he said this, everyone below fell into a daze. The holy son of Haoyin was really lawless. He had already killed 3 holy sons today, and now he was going to fight the holy son of the light-shaking realm again? No one understood Jun Haoyin's actions. Now that he had only killed the Xiang holy son, it was not a big deal. After all, both of them belonged to the Langya holy ground, so it was considered an internal matter of the Langya holy ground. However, the deaths of the holy son of Donghua and Wudao of the holy sun would definitely incur the wrath of the Luotian holy ground and the Qingyun holy ground. If it was not handled properly, it was very likely that it would provoke a war between the holy grounds. However, the holy son of Haoyin acted as if these hidden dangers did not exist. Now he was provoking the holy son of the light-shaking realm. He was going to turn the world upside down. Has the holy son of your family always been this crazy? Gu Yuehuang looked at Jun Haoyin and asked Feng Xiaoyao and Dugu Bo, who were next to her. Their eyes were filled with helplessness. After hearing the Jade Lake Holy Maiden's words, the two of them smiled bitterly. Their holy son of Haoyin Holy Ground had dared to challenge the inner sect when he was only at the true energy stage, and caused 17 main hall elders to lose their titles consecutively. He could be said to be lawless. Especially now that junior sister Jun's whereabouts were unknown. No one could control the holy sun. The holy sun would only become stronger. Unless a holy leader came, no one could stop him. Indeed, the holy son of Haoyin Holy Sun narrowed his eyes. Boundless killing intent surged. Do you think you can challenge me just because you killed Ziyang and the others? Do you think you can fight me just because you have a trump card? You really don't know your place. The holy son of Haoyin Holy Sun said in an extremely cold tone. He was known as the second strongest person in Eastern Wilderness, so he definitely had the right to be strong. Noisy, the holy son of Haoyin Holy Sun is barking like a mad dog. Do you think I don't dare to kill you? Jun Haoyin said in an unscrupulous and domineering manner. Facing the second strongest person in Eastern Wilderness, Jun Haoyin did not hesitate and directly attacked. Boom! He punched out and the surrounding mountains and rivers shook. An endless storm swept toward the holy son of Haoyin Holy Sun. At this moment, everyone was dumbfounded. Crazy. The holy son of Haoyin Holy Sun had gone berserk. The holy son of Haoyin Holy Sun was enraged. Jun Haoyin actually dared to attack him first. What was the point of not killing him? Without any hesitation he directly attacked Jun Haoyin's punch. A four-legged, four-eared cauldron appeared in his hand, shining with golden light. The golden light turned into a curtain of light that enveloped the Holy Sun of Haoyin Holy Sun. Is that the Alcade Cauldron, the supreme artifact of the Alcade sacred land? It's a supreme-grade artifact. It's modeled after the Alcade Cauldron. Even so, it's still the most powerful supreme-grade artifact. Once it's used, it's invincible. The Holy Sun of Haoyin Holy Sun is in danger. He's only in the Imperial Dao realm. He can't break that cauldron. Someone shouted, recognizing the origin of the golden cauldron. It was a divine cauldron modeled after a paragon artifact. It was one of the most powerful supreme-grade artifacts. Once it was used, it would be invincible. Indeed, Jun Haoyin's punch did not even break the curtain of light. I'll show you what a true peerless genius is like. The Holy Sun of Haoyin Holy Sun of Haoyin Holy Sun roared. Since he had attacked, he had to kill this person. No one dared to be so disrespectful to him. He wanted this arrogant Holy Sun of Haoyin Holy Sun. He would die without a burial place. Chapter 167. An earth-shattering battle was about to erupt. It was different from the battle between Jun Haoyin and the Three Holy Sun. The battle between Jun Haoyin and the light-shaking Holy Sun was even more terrifying. With the replica of the light-shaking cauldron above his head, the light-shaking Holy Sun's defense was unparalleled, and he was practically invincible. Jun Haoyin activated the 300,000 giant elephant seeds in his body, and countless ancient giant elephant phantoms appeared behind him. Every punch that Jun Haoyin threw out was filled with terrifying might. Space exploded and mountains and rivers shattered. Even so, he was still unable to break through the light-shaking Holy Sun's defenses. The two peerless powers collided, and the entire Supreme Being's ruins was affected. The ground began to tremble and cracks began to appear all over it. When they saw this scene, everyone flew into the sky, not daring to stay on the ground. A battle between two peak-level Holy Sun was truly terrifying. Just the shockwaves from the battle were enough to tear an ordinary Imperial Dao realm expert to shreds. In the sky, everyone retreated thousands of kilometers away. Even the Jade Lake Holy Maiden and Kunlun Holy Maiden did the same. They had no intention of joining the battle, so it was best for them to avoid being dragged into the battle. Guyue Huang, on the other hand, was confident in Jun Haoyin. She believed that Jun Haoyin could defeat the light-shaking Holy Sun. Of course, if Jun Haoyin showed any signs of weakness, she would attack without hesitation. On the other side, Jun Haoyin and the light-shaking Holy Sun's battle was in full swing. Jun Haoyin's casual attacks were filled with terrifying might that could destroy the world. Boom! A massive fist shot out from Jun Haoyin's hand, shattering space with a wave of his hand. The light-shaking Holy Sun had the light-shaking cauldron above his head, and his body was covered in abstruse and mysterious divine light. At the same time, he constantly pointed his finger, and every point contained unparalleled offensive power. Divine Star Finger. This was the supreme inheritance of the wavering light sacred ground. It was a supreme emperor art with terrifying power. A casual point of his finger had the power to shatter stars. Jun Haoyin was incredibly powerful, but it seemed that the light-shaking realm Holy Sun wasn't weak either. You can't even break through my defense. How can you hurt me? Today you will die. The light-shaking Holy Sun spoke as he jabbed out hundreds of times. In the void, a wave of yuan qi was set off. They were like giant pillars that reached the heavens as they rushed towards Jun Haoyin. Boom boom boom. The entire ground was shaking and everyone's face was filled with shock. However, even in the face of such a powerful Supreme Emperor technique, Jun Haoyin was still fearless. At this moment, Tao Xian's mysterious light appeared on his body. Jun Haoyin exuded a peerless and unparalleled aura. 5 million pores surged with a huge amount of essence energy. Even if the hundreds of fingers descended like heavenly pillars, they couldn't hurt him at all. This was the indestructible heavenly god body. It was said to be immortal and indestructible. Although Jun Haoyin hadn't cultivated this terrifying theurgy for very long, it was already beginning to show its power. Do you really think that I can't do anything to this turtle shell? Jun Haoyin looked at the light-shaking Holy Sun in front of him and said softly. As soon as he finished speaking, Jun Haoyin activated the secret character of all. Instantly, tenfold of his combat strength was unleashed. At the same time, the underworld deity spear, which contained the power of 18 layers of hell, appeared again. The vast and terrifying aura seemed like it was going to drag the entire world into hell. Without hesitation, Jun Haoyin threw out the underworld deity spear. Bang! The void trembled, and the curtain of light hanging from the replica alcade cauldron trembled violently. It was as if it had encountered its natural enemy and was trembling in fear. Seeing this, the light-shaking Holy Sun's expression changed drastically. Right at this moment, Jun Haoyin made his move again. The true energy in his body surged, and an ancient demon sovereign appeared behind him. And this ancient demon sovereign, 3,000 hands holding 3,000 underworld deity spears. One underworld deity spear was enough to shake the world, let alone 3,000 spears. Only Jun Haoyin's true energy could support such a terrifying consumption. Seeing this, the light-shaking Holy Sun couldn't help but feel his scalp tingle. This guy's strength had reached such a terrifying level. Kill? Jun Haoyin shouted, and the demon sovereign behind him also threw out 3,000 underworld deity spears. Dong 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 dong, heaven and earth screamed. The ground couldn't withstand the impact and sank thousands of meters. Lava erupted from the ground and flew into the sky, forming a river of lava. The battle between the two changed the terrain within 1,000 miles. This area turned into hell on earth. Crack. It was also at this moment that the light-shaking Holy Sun suddenly realized. The curtain of light around the replica alcade cauldron was actually shattered. How is this possible? At this moment, the light-shaking Holy Sun was really scared. For so many years, other than losing to that guy from the Kunlun Holy Land, he had always been invincible. Basically, all of his opponents were toyed with in the palm of his hand. At this moment he felt an extremely strong sense of danger. Boom. Before he could react, Jun Haoyin's fist came crashing down. Without the alcade cauldron's defense, the light-shaking Holy Sun was no match for Jun Haoyin. This punch was partially blocked by the alcade cauldron, but the rest landed on his body. The light-shaking Holy Sun spat out a mouthful of thick blood, and his face became incomparably pale. Jun Haoyin's punch had almost shattered his body. Just now he had a narrow escape from death. Jun Haoyin seemed to have turned into a primordial dragon and almost tore himself to pieces. When everyone saw this scene, they were all dumbfounded. How long had it been since the light-shaking Holy Sun's debut? He was already able to suppress the second strongest person in the eastern wilderness. Didn't that mean that not long after, he would be able to fight the Kunlun Holy Sun soon? Rumble. It was also at this moment that the world rumbled again and the space shattered. Countless people looked up and even Jun Haoyin frowned. Oh no, Xinyuan Supreme's ruins are closing early? Once it closes, all living beings will be wiped out. No one will be able to survive. Look, there's an exit. At this moment, everyone cried out. No one would have thought that Xinyuan Supreme's ruins would close early, although they didn't know why. However, this was the most dangerous time. If they didn't go out, they would die. Light-shaking Holy Sun, you are indeed very strong. Now that the ruins are about to close, let's go out first. Let's temporarily call it a draw today. At this moment, the light-shaking Holy Sun suddenly spoke, causing countless people to be stunned. After saying this, the light-shaking Holy Sun immediately turned into a stream of light and flew toward the exit. Was this a forced draw? And he escaped directly? Was this really the famous light-shaking Holy Sun? Seeing this, Jun Haoyin sneered. In the next moment he wanted to chase after him, but he stopped. Then he looked at Guyue Huang. Guyue Huang was stunned. She immediately said loudly, I will take care of the people from the Langya Holy Land. You don't have to worry. Hearing this, Jun Haoyin nodded. He looked at the fleeing light-shaking Holy Sun and spoke slowly. Light-shaking Holy Sun, today, you will die without a doubt. This sentence exploded in the void. Unparalleled strength. No one could escape from his hands. To the ends of the earth, to the end of the world. Chapter 2. Pursuit of 100,000 miles. At this moment, outside Xinyuan Supreme's ruins. There were many restrictions on entering Xinyuan Supreme's ruins, and most people couldn't enter. However, this was a rare opportunity, and there were still tens of thousands of people who didn't leave. After all, this was a once-in-10,000 years event. Even if they didn't get anything, if they could see someone obtain great fortune in Xinyuan Supreme's ruins, it would still be a good story. Hey, look over there. Suddenly, there was a sudden cry of surprise in the originally peaceful world. Following that person's gaze, everyone looked toward the entrance of the ruins. They suddenly discovered the huge door that led to Xinyuan Supreme's ruins. At this moment there were actually spatial fluctuations. Could it be that something has happened inside Xinyuan Supreme's ruins, and it's closing in advance? Something big must have happened inside. Someone quickly pointed out the reason. This wasn't the first time this had happened. Who do you think will be the first to come out? According to the ancient records in the past, the first to come out of Xianyuan Supreme's ruins were usually the ones who gained the most. I think it's the Kunlun Holy Daughter. No, I think the light-shaking Holy Sun is the second strongest in the eastern wilderness. How can it not be the Haoyin Holy Sun? He's also very strong. Haha, the Haoyin Holy Sun has offended so many people. I'm afraid it'll be a problem for him to even come out. Many people kept talking as they looked at the huge door. They were guessing who would be the first to come out. Most people thought that the light-shaking Holy Sun, the Kunlun Holy Daughter, and the Linglong Holy Daughter were the most likely candidates. Of course, some people guessed that it would be the first Holy Daughter in the eastern wilderness, the Jade Lake Holy Daughter, Guyua Huang. As for the Haoyin Holy Sun, it was another matter whether he could come out or not. At this moment, everyone's eyes were looking at the door of the ruins, as if to verify their guesses. Boom. At this moment, the door of Xianyuan Supreme's ruins rumbled. Countless people were looking forward to it. Suddenly, a white-robed figure turned into a stream of light and shot out. It's the light-shaking Holy Sun. It's really him. No wonder he's the second strongest in the eastern wilderness. He lives up to his reputation. Why didn't the light-shaking Holy Sun stop? Something's not right. The light-shaking Holy Sun seems to be seriously injured. Look, the light-shaking Holy Sun is covered in blood. Countless people began to exclaim when they saw the light-shaking Holy Sun's white robe covered in blood. Could it be that the changes in the ruins were related to the light-shaking Holy Sun? What kind of person could cause the light-shaking Holy Sun to be seriously injured? Look, the second person is coming out. Hey, it's the Haoyin Holy Sun. Why do I feel that the Haoyin Holy Sun is chasing after the light-shaking Holy Sun? Some people with sharp eyes noticed the shocking aura erupting from Jun Haoyin's body. It was terrifying. The light-shaking Holy Sun kept looking back and forth, his eyes filled with fear. The second strongest in the eastern wilderness, the light-shaking Holy Sun. He was actually being chased by the Haoyin Holy Sun, and he was in such a sorry state. Countless people were stunned by this situation. Haoyin Holy Sun, we are now outside the ruins. The Holy Sun's mark is already in effect. How dare you be so presumptuous? The light-shaking Holy Sun shouted when he saw Jun Haoyin chasing after him. He turned into a ray of light and fled. He did not expect the Haoyin Holy Sun to be so crazy. After leaving the Supreme Being's ruins, he still wanted to kill him. Light-shaking Holy Sun, don't talk nonsense. You will die today. Jun Haoyin sneered without a trace of emotion. A monstrous murderous intent erupted from his body. At the same time, the others also came out of the Supreme Being's ruins. After Jun Haoyin and the light-shaking Holy Sun came out, they followed closely behind. The Holy Sun was chasing after the Holy Sun. Almost no one wanted to miss this once-in-a-lifetime scene. Even the Kunlun Saintess and the Linglong Saintess were no exception. They wanted to see the final result. Through the people who came out of the ruins, the people outside immediately knew what had happened in the ruins. At this moment, the Haoyin Holy Sun was actually chasing after the light-shaking Holy Sun. After confirming this news, countless people were shocked. In the next moment, countless people chased after Jun Haoyin and the light-shaking Holy Sun. Haoyin Holy Sun, you will provoke a war between the Holy Lands. Then you will commit a heinous crime. In the void, the light-shaking Holy Sun turned into a ray of light and shouted crazily. Therefore, there was no teleportation formation in the Supreme Being's ruins. In addition, the Holy Sun's mark was only effective when one's life was in danger. Therefore, the light-shaking Holy Sun had to flee in the direction of the light-shaking Holy Land. For him, that was the safest place in the martial god continent. The light-shaking Holy Sun used a secret technique and his speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he had crossed thousands of miles. However, Jun Haoyin's speed was also extremely fast. With the support of a huge amount of true origin, he directly opened his flaming wings. His speed suddenly increased tremendously. Could be said that he was extremely terrifying. He was even slightly faster than the light-shaking Holy Sun. However, there was still a long distance between them. Jun Haoyin could not catch up with him in a short time. Without hesitation, Jun Haoyin directly took out the sun-shooting divine bow. Draw full moon. At the same time, the light-shaking Holy Sun felt an extreme sense of danger. In desperation, he could only take out the light-shaking cauldron again to protect himself. Although the light-shaking cauldron was already broken, its defense was still strong. Boom. In the next moment, Jun Haoyin shot out an arrow. At this moment, the wind and clouds surged. Hundreds of miles of mountains and rivers collapsed, and countless demonic beasts exploded. At this moment, a destructive power swept out. The people chasing behind all felt their scalps tingle. Pfft. The arrow landed on the light-shaking cauldron, and a terrifying tremor shook the heavens and earth. At this moment, the light-shaking Holy Sun's face was pale. If not for the light-shaking Holy Sun's protection just now, he would have already died. In desperation, the light-shaking Holy Sun bit the tip of his tongue and sacrificed a drop of blood essence. His speed increased a bit and he frantically fled. Jun Haotian, on the other hand, chased after him with all his might. They were extremely fast. They directly passed through one city after another and one mountain after another. This scene also alarmed countless experts in the eastern wilderness. The news that the Holy Sun was chasing after the Holy Sun was too shocking. Countless people rushed over and saw this shocking scene. Jun Haotian was chasing after the light-shaking Holy Sun, who was known as the second strongest cultivator in the eastern wilderness, alone. The latter was covered in blood and his face was pale. Boom! Another arrow was shot out and it shook the mountains and rivers, causing countless mountains and rivers to explode. Everyone was shocked. The light-shaking Holy Sun was one of the 7 holy lands of the human race, and the light-shaking Holy Sun was known as a prodigy. But now he was being chased by Jun Haotian in front of the entire world. In 2 hours, Jun Haotian had crossed hundreds of thousands of kilometers, and he continuously attacked. Everywhere he went, not even a blade of grass grew. Countless people saw the light-shaking Holy Sun covered in blood, and he no longer looked like a prodigy. This news alarmed countless powerhouses. The light-shaking Holy Sun was being chased for hundreds of thousands of kilometers. At this moment, this news began to spread to the various holy lands. Boom! Another golden arrow shot out. The Alcade Saint Sun was covered in blood and fell into a pool of blood. At this moment he was extremely regretful. Why did he provoke this madman? At this moment he realized that his vision had become blurry, and his entire body was cold. His heart was filled with despair. This was because he could faintly sense that Jun Haotian was condensing a new arrow. He could no longer block this attack. This arrow was enough to kill him. Light-shaking Holy Sun, stop! At this moment, a violent roar sounded, and it crushed the mountains and rivers. The older generation experts of the light-shaking sacred ground had finally appeared. Chapter 168. At this moment the sky changed color and the mountains and rivers shook. An incomparably vast pressure instantly enveloped heaven and earth. Then one figure after another appeared in the void. Their bodies were huge and each one of them was thousands of feet tall. The invisible aura that leaked out was so terrifying that it almost suffocated everyone. Everyone stared at the void in horror. The figures that appeared in the void were all supreme existences in the transcendence realm. Moreover, there were as many as 9 super experts of this level. Any one of these 9 terrifying existences was comparable to the 7 temple masters of the Langya sacred ground. The terrifying aura set off waves of origin chi in the void, and the mountains and rivers within thousands of miles were shaken. This scene caused all the cultivators who were chasing after Jun Haotian to stop in their tracks. Their faces were pale and they stopped in the distance to watch. They had already reached the boundary of the wavering light sacred ground. The 9 transcendence realm experts in the void were the almighty existences of the wavering light sacred ground. The terrifying aura spread in the void, and even Jun Haotian could not help but feel a little suffocated. If there was only one transcendence realm existence, Jun Haotian would not be afraid. However, there were 9 transcendence realm existences here at the same time. Moreover, these 9 transcendence realm existences were all influential figures in the martial god continent thousands of years ago. Compared to the independent cultivators of the same realm, their strength was undoubtedly much more terrifying. At this moment, Jun Haotian was drawing the sun-slaying divine bow, but he did not shoot it out. This was because he could feel 9 oppressive auras tightly locking onto him. This was a threat. If he attacked directly, how would the 9 transcendence realm existences attack him? Cough cough. At this moment, the wavering light Holy Sun felt the appearance of these experts and stood up with difficulty. Now that he had a chance to catch his breath, he hurriedly swallowed dozens of precious elixirs. As the wavering light Holy Sun, the elixirs and elixirs he had were naturally extraordinary. After a while, the wavering light Holy Sun recovered a lot. Then he looked at Jun Haotian who was in the void. The 9 experts from the Alcade Holy Land who had appeared in order to protect him looked embarrassed. He was the light-shaking realm Holy Sun, known as the second strongest cultivator in the eastern wasteland. He had actually been chased by a brat for 100,000 miles, all the way to his own doorstep. He even needed the help of his elders. Great humiliation. This was simply a great humiliation. This made him lose all his face. When he thought of this, the Alcade Holy Sun's heart was filled with rage. Holy Son of Haotian, I'm standing right here. Kill me if you dare. The Alcade Holy Sun seemed to have lost all reason as he roared at Jun Haotian. As one of the top prodigies in the eastern wilderness, the Holy Son of the light-shaking realm had never been humiliated like this before. At this moment he couldn't wait for Jun Haotian to attack him. In that case, the 9 Dharma Plane cultivators behind him could make their move. I said I'd kill you and I'll do it. You won't be able to escape death today. Jun Haotian stood in the void, his golden aura turning into a surging ocean. He was dressed in purple and all kinds of divine light shone on him. He was like a supreme deity. Holy Son of Haotian, let's stop here. You've gone too far. Seeing that Jun Haotian was still so arrogant, one of the Alcade Holy Land cultivators' faces darkened. This Holy Son of Haotian was so arrogant. He dared to be so presumptuous in front of his elders. He had no respect for his elders and this was treason. If Jun Haotian wasn't the Holy Son of Haotian, they would have killed him already. Holy Son of Haotian, please go back. Today's matter ends here. We can also let bygones be bygones for your pursuit of our Holy Son of Haotian. You've already killed Long Dongbua and Zhuozhongtong. If you provoke the Alcade Holy Land, I'm afraid the Langya Holy Land won't be able to handle it. Please leave now. Otherwise we'll attack directly. If anything happens, don't blame us. Then the 9 Alcade Holy Land cultivators spoke one after another. Their tone was cold and they reprimanded him. There was even a hint of threat in their words. Their attitude showed that they were determined to protect the Holy Son of Alcade. Haha, the Holy Son of Alcade and Xiang Holy Son of Haotian wanted to join forces to deal with me, the Holy Son. It's only right that I kill him today. Looking at the 9 Alcade Holy Land cultivators, Jun Haotian spoke arrogantly and mercilessly. You old fogies forcefully intervened in our battle. Are you trying to bully the young? Are you trying to bully the weak? Are you trying to bully the weak? Are you trying to bully the weak? His attitude instantly caused countless people to tremble in fear. The Holy Son of Haotian was too domineering. Could even be said that he was arrogant. One had to know that this was the territory of the Alcade Holy Land. Wasn't he afraid of angering the people of the Alcade Holy Land by acting so arrogantly? How dare you? How dare you? You're courting death. Hearing Jun Haotian's arrogant words, the 9 Alcade Holy Land cultivators immediately rebuked him angrily. Their expressions changed drastically and they were furious. Even if Jun Haotian was the Holy Son of the Langya Holy Land, he couldn't speak to them in such a manner. Ever since they had ascended to the Dharma characteristic realm, no one had dared to be impudent in front of them for thousands of years. The Holy Son of Haotian in front of them was just a child. How could they not be angry when he spoke so arrogantly just because he was the Holy Son? Today no one can stop me from killing the Holy Son of Alcade. Ignoring the furious 9 Alcade Holy Land cultivators, Jun Haotian sneered, then directly drew the sun-slaying divine bow. A terrifying aura is brewing. He aimed at the Holy Son of Alcade and shot another arrow with all his strength. This arrow was even more terrifying than the previous one. Moreover, the Holy Son of Alcade's Alcade Cauldron was already broken and could no longer be used. Jun Haotian's angry arrow was enough to kill him. The Holy Son of Haotian has already turned into a demon and is addicted to killing. The Alcade Holy Land wants to eliminate the demon. All unrelated people disperse. Otherwise, you are the demon's accomplice and will be killed immediately. Seeing this scene, the 9 Alcade Holy Land cultivators were instantly enraged. In the next moment they directly named Jun Haotian as a demon. And they were the ones to eliminate the demon. Without the slightest warning, the 9 Alcade Holy Land cultivators attacked. They actually attacked at the same time. In an instant, the wind and clouds changed color and heaven and earth trembled. Boom. At this moment, a vast aura surged. Jun Haotian only felt that the heaven and earth essence chi around him was being sucked dry. His true essence was directly suppressed in his energy center and could not be used. Even the cells in his body were trembling, unable to bear it. Seeing this scene, countless people's expressions changed. The 9 Alcade Holy Son of Haotian were actually attacking the Holy Son of Haotian at the same time. This was simply bullying the young with the old. Even the Holy Son of Kunlun would not be able to withstand such a situation. At this moment, Jun Haoyan only felt that his body was being imprisoned, and he could not use his true essence. Ah, holy son of Haoyan, come and kill me. If anyone wants to kill, it will be me who kills you. You have already turned into a demon. It is only right for me to kill you. Apart from you, the demon, the Langya Holy Land will thank us. Seeing that Jun Haoyan was being restrained by the 9 Alcade Holy Son of Haoyan, the Holy Son of Haoyan laughed maniacally. Holy Son of Haoyan, you have turned into a demon. Let us exorcise it for you. One of the Alcade Holy Land's experts spoke. His palm grew to a size of 10,000 feet, and he was about to split open the top of Jun Haoyan's head. How was this exorcism? They wanted to destroy Jun Haoyan's soul. Countless people cried out in alarm, and Guyue Wang's face turned pale. Aha, exorcising demons? You're just a bunch of hypocrites. You want to kill me? Dream on. Jun Haoyan laughed. Although his entire body was imprisoned, he had expected this and was not afraid at all. The Yuan Dan in his body had yet to transcend the tribulation of heaven and earth. Chapter 2. Killing the Alcade Holy Sun with a single arrow even though he already possessed the strength of a 5th-level Imperial Dao Realm cultivator. In reality, he had yet to transcend the tribulation of heaven and earth. Originally, he had wanted to return to the Langya Holy Land to transcend the tribulation. But now, it was time. Boom. In the next moment, a vast and boundless aura burst out from Jun Haoyan's body. Countless people were shocked when they sensed this aura. It was the aura that belonged to Yuan Dan. It was the aura of the tribulation of heaven and earth. Only an eternal realm expert could resist such an aura. Otherwise, even a transcendence realm expert would be unable to stop his descent. Right at this moment, space shook as clouds gathered above the Waxingwang Holy Land. The color of the heavens and the earth changed. Thunder rumbled and lightning flashed as a chaotic aura raged in the sky. This was an aura that truly belonged to the heavens and the earth, and it suppressed everything. He actually hasn't transcended the tribulation. No, he's at the 5th level of the Imperial Dao Realm, but he hasn't transcended the 4th level of the tribulation. Otherwise, both of us will be enveloped by the tribulation of heaven and earth. The 9 great figures of the Waxingwang Holy Land were instantly astounded when they witnessed this scene. Never had they imagined that Jun Haoyan would actually draw down the tribulation of heaven and earth at this moment. Even a transcendence realm expert wouldn't be able to avoid being enveloped by the might of the tribulation, and they would be directly pulled into it. Moreover, the higher the cultivation of the cultivator beneath the tribulation, the greater the might of the tribulation would be. In other words, Jun Haoyan was transcending the tribulation of the 5th level of the Imperial Dao Realm. On the other hand, they were facing the tribulation of the transcendence realm. Of course, they weren't afraid of the tribulation. However, if they transcended the tribulation, they would definitely be heavily injured. Rumble. At this moment, the void trembled as black clouds gathered and enveloped the surroundings. Everyone retreated hundreds of kilometers when they saw this scene. They were afraid that they would be implicated. Even the 9 light-shaking realm experts were preparing to leave this place in shock. It's too late to leave now. A cold smile appeared on Jun Haoyan's face when he saw this scene. In the next moment, he released all of the aura within the Yuan Dan. Boom. For a moment, thunder rumbled in the heavens and the earth. In the next moment, a supreme tribulation descended and enveloped Jun Haoyan and the 9 transcendence realm experts. At this moment, they were all caught in the tribulation. Holy Son Haoyan, you're so ruthless. After realizing that he was enveloped by the power of the tribulation, one of the transcendence realm experts roared at Jun Haoyan. Rumble. Tens of thousands of lightning bolts descended from the sky. The experts of the wavering light sacred land were transcending tribulation together. Even the Holy Son Haoyan was enveloped by it. Jun Haoyan was also bathed in tens of thousands of lightning bolts. Heavens, the Holy Son Haoyan actually attracted a tribulation of heaven and earth. This is too terrifying. Do you think the Holy Son Haoyan has been waiting for this moment? In this way, the 9 transcendence realm experts of the wavering light sacred land can't even take care of themselves. When they saw this scene, everyone cried out in surprise. On this day, the shock that Jun Haoyan gave them was simply too much. Look, what's that? 9 colored clouds. The heavenly tribulation that the Holy Son Haoyan attracted is actually a 9-colored lightning tribulation. No, look, the Holy Son Haoyan is attacking the wavering light Holy Sun again. In the next moment, everyone turned to look at Jun Haoyan. In the midst of the lightning tribulation, Jun Haoyan actually dashed toward the wavering light holy sun at high speed. In the face of such a terrifying tribulation, the holy sun Haoyan was actually preparing to attack the wavering light holy sun. Wasn't this a little too crazy? At this moment, the wavering light holy sun, who was also in the midst of the tribulation, also sensed the danger. Haoyan holy sun, are you crazy? Seeing that Jun Haoyan still wanted to attack him at this moment, he couldn't help but be shocked. I said that no one can protect you today. Jun Haoyan said with a murderous look on his face. The nine-colored lightning tribulation bombarded his body, but it didn't have any effect. At this moment, his physical body, primordial spirit, and true origin were all in peak condition. A lightning tribulation of this level was no longer effective on him. At this moment, he picked up the sun-slaying divine bow again and drew it to its maximum. Ah, Haoyan holy sun, you can't kill me. Seeing this, the wavering light holy sun, who was struggling to resist the lightning tribulation, couldn't help but tremble in fear. He was incomparably terrified. He wanted to ask for help, but he found that the experts of the wavering light holy land were all undergoing their tribulations. They couldn't even take care of themselves. Not to mention saving him. Boom. In the next moment, Jun Haoyan released his grip, and a golden arrow flew out. The arrow flew out with a thunderous roar. Wuxia. Faced with this terrifying arrow, the wavering light holy sun, who didn't have the wavering light cauldron's protection, could not block it. His body was directly hit, and half of it exploded, dyeing the sky red with blood. Countless people were shocked when they saw this scene. Haoyan holy sun was really unscrupulous to achieve his goal. Although he was hit by the arrow, the wavering light holy sun was not dead. He still had half of his body left. Right now he was like a stray dog. There was no sign of him being a prodigy at all. He dragged half of his body and madly ran in the direction of the wavering light holy land. Haoyan holy sun, you are courting death. When they saw the wavering light holy sun in such a miserable state, the wavering light cultivators who were undergoing their tribulations couldn't help but roar angrily. They wanted nothing more than to immediately kill Jun Haoyan. But no matter how angry they were, it was useless. They were in the middle of the lightning tribulation, and they couldn't even take care of themselves. How could they spare the time to help? If this continued, the wavering light holy sun would only die. Bathed in the nine-colored lightning tribulation, Jun Haoyan's body was as immovable as a mountain. At the same time, the second and third cracks began to appear on his primal core, which had survived the tribulation. The fourth and fifth cracks appeared in the next moment. Now that he had overcome his tribulation, he was truly standing at the fifth level of the Emperor realm. Without much hesitation, he who was standing at a new peak, drew his bow. Buzz, 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 thousands of evil spirits howled. The power of this arrow was far more terrifying than before. Countless people held their breaths. This was a sure kill arrow. Stop. But at that moment, an extremely soft voice rang out in the void. Although this voice was soft, it was clearly transmitted to everyone's ears. After this voice rang out, the entire world fell into silence. Even the great tribulation of heaven and earth that filled the void instantly disappeared. Someone had made a move and isolated the world. An immortal realm expert. Jun Haoyan's hair stood on end. He could feel a pair of eyes staring at him. If he didn't stop, he would really die. It was the wavering light holy master. Kill? In the next moment, Jun Haoyan's eyes were filled with madness. He roared and shot out an arrow. Even if the wavering light holy master appeared, he would still kill the wavering light holy sun. At that moment, heaven and earth shook violently. The wavering light holy master wanted to kill Jun Haoyan. However, the void rumbled and blocked him at that moment. Tao Xian. That expert berated loudly. Pfft. At that moment, the wavering light holy sun was hit by the golden arrow. His physical body exploded, and his divine soul turned into nothingness. Chapter 3. The three holy masters gather. Scarlet blood exploded in the void, blooming like red fireworks. This resplendent scene seemed to indicate the end of this peerless genius. The wavering light holy sun's glorious life had come to an end. From now on, the wavering light holy sun no longer existed in this world. The second position of the Eastern Wilderness younger generation had completely changed. Countless people's faces turned pale when they saw the wavering light holy sun fall. They still couldn't believe what they had seen today. It was as if they were in a dream. 4 holy sun existences had fallen, and they had died at the hands of the same person. This day was enough to go down in history. But everyone knew that. This matter was far from over. The moment the immortal realm expert made a move, the heavenly secrets were concealed. The great tribulation of heaven and earth also disappeared, and the world suddenly returned to silence. At that moment, the 9 Transcendence Realm experts of the Wavering Light Sacred Ground watched the tragic death of the Wavering Light Holy Sun. Their faces were twisted. Holy Sun Hao Tian had killed the Wavering Light Holy Sun in front of the 9 of them. How could they have any face left? But at that moment, even though the 9 Transcendence Realm experts were extremely angry, they could only stand there quietly and did not attack Jun Haotian. The surrounding cultivators were also extremely quiet at that moment. They did not dare to make a sound. In between heaven and earth, a suppressive aura that could suppress everything slowly swept across the void. The sky changed color and the sun and moon dimmed. In the next instant, the void distorted, and a middle-aged man in a golden robe slowly walked out of the Wavering Light Sacred Ground. That person walked out step by step, accompanied by the rhythm of heaven and earth and the turbulence of the wind and clouds. Just like that, with every step he took, heaven and earth became heavier. At that moment, no one dared to make a sound. This middle-aged man was the Wavering Light Sacred Leader. He was the top figure in the entire martial god continent. Above the void, the Wavering Light Sacred Leader looked coldly at Jun Haotian. A trace of killing intent flashed in his eyes. In the next moment, an extreme pressure that belonged to the immortal realm directly enveloped Jun Haotian. If it was anyone else, they would not be able to resist such pressure. But Jun Haotian was different. His strength was terrifying, and he cultivated the divine elephant overpowering technique, which was a terrifying supreme cultivation technique. Not to mention the existence of the immortal realm. Even if it was a legendary existence of the Emperor realm, he would not be able to suppress him with just his aura. Seeing this scene, the Wavering Light Sacred Leader's eyes flashed with a strange light, and his killing intent intensified. Then he slowly opened his mouth and said in a calm tone, "You are not bad." His words seemed to be praising Jun Haotian. But the killing intent in his words could not be more obvious. Although he wanted to kill Jun Haotian with a palm strike, the Wavering Light Sacred Leader was obviously afraid. He did not attack Jun Haotian. Instead, he slowly looked at a certain spot in the void. "Tao Xian, since you are here, show yourself." Hearing this, everyone's expression changed drastically. They did not expect that the Holy Lord of Langya would also come. Tao Xian, the Holy Lord of Langya Holy Land. Lin Langtian, long time no see. The moment the Wavering Light Sacred Leader's voice fell, an ethereal voice also sounded in the void. In the next moment, the Holy Lord of Langya, Tao Xian's figure appeared directly behind Jun Haotian. The moment the Holy Lord of Langya appeared, everyone felt the pressure released by the Wavering Light Sacred Leader disappear. It seemed to be blocked by something. Looking at Tao Xian beside him, Jun Haotian calmed down. At the same time, he knew that he could kill the Holy Son of the Wavering Light Sacred Leader because Tao Xian had helped him. Otherwise, he would not have been able to kill an Immortal Realm expert. The strength of an Immortal Realm expert was extremely terrifying. Holy Lord. Then Jun Haotian bowed respectfully to Tao Xian. No matter what, since Tao Xian had stepped in at such a critical moment, Jun Haotian should respect this Holy Lord. Hearing this, Tao Xian looked at Jun Haotian and said with a smile, "You really know how to cause trouble for me." The sentence sounded like he was blaming Jun Haotian. However, the pride that surfaced on Tao Xian's face was displayed without any concealment. He was obviously praising Jun Haotian. Seeing this scene, many people sighed in their hearts. Peerless geniuses had special privileges. For a peerless genius like the Holy Son of Haotian to appear in any force was something to be proud of. "Tao Xian, how do you plan to deal with this matter?" At this moment, Lin Langtian, the Wavering Light Sacred Leader, spoke. He looked at Tao Xian as if he wanted an explanation. This was a punitive expedition. How do I deal with it? When Tao Xian heard this, he raised his eyebrows and said mockingly, "It's inevitable that there will be casualties in a battle between the younger generation. Since the Wavering Light Holy Son was killed, it means that he is incompetent. Don't tell me you're going to blame him?" Hearing this, many of the major forces present nodded. In fact, it was not only the martial god continent, but also the 3,000 small realms. The older generation could not interfere in a battle between the younger generation. Moreover, the Wavering Light Holy Son had provoked them first. At this moment, the Wavering Light Sacred Leader's accusation was indeed unreasonable. Tao Xian, don't pretend to be confused. The Wavering Light Holy Son's death was because he lost in a battle between the younger generation. I can let bygones be bygones. However, the Holy Son of Haotian acted presumptuously in front of the Wavering Light Sacred Ground. This is trampling on the dignity of the Wavering Light's sacred ground. He must pay the price. Lin Langtian, the Wavering Light's sacred leader, said. He did not use the Wavering Light Holy Sun's death as an excuse. He was talking about the dignity of a sacred ground. Everyone knew this. Human sacred grounds were revered and respected by billions of people. Trampling on the dignity of a sacred ground was quite serious. There was no loophole in this excuse. Hearing this, Tao Xian frowned. They were all leaders of sacred grounds. They would not easily start a war, so they had to be reasonable first. If they could not be reasoned with, they would use their fists. You are not as strong as others, but you still want to force your dignity and dignity to be implicated? I didn't expect the dignity of the Wavering Light sacred ground to be so cheap. At this moment, Jun Haoyin spoke directly with a fearless look on his face. In fact, he could tell that the Wavering Light sacred leader was just sophistry. How could he let the other party have his way? Tao Xian, did you see that? Amir Jr. dares to talk nonsense in front of me. The Wavering Light sacred leader's expression did not change. He was not angered by Jun Haoyin and spoke in a calm tone. His purpose was simple. He wanted to make Jun Haoyin pay the price. That's right, Tao Xian. A junior is too presumptuous, isn't he? The Wavering Light sacred leader has already given him a chance. As a junior, the holy son of Haoyin is too arrogant. Just as Tao Xian was about to speak, another two terrifying auras appeared and covered the heavens and the earth. Two figures, one in green and one in gold, appeared in the void. They stepped on the heavens and the earth. Every step they took covered a distance of tens of thousands of miles. They landed steadily behind the Wavering Light sacred ground. In an instant, the powerful aura in the void erupted again and suppressed everything. It was vaguely suppressing Tao Xian. After the two of them appeared, countless people began to tremble. They could not help but kneel down. These two people were the sacred leader of Luo Tian and the sacred leader of Qingyun. The three sacred leaders had joined forces to launch an attack. Their purpose was to make the holy son of Haoyin pay the price. Chapter 169. A vast aura spread between heaven and earth, causing the mountains and rivers to tremble. An aura that was powerful enough to destroy the world descended upon the surrounding area. Even peerless geniuses like the Kunlun Saintess and the Linglong Saintess were stunned. In the void, their expressions were solemn and their hearts were trembling. What was happening in front of them had completely exceeded their imagination. Now that things had developed to this point, even they were not qualified to interfere. Right now, it was no longer something that the younger generation could participate in. It had completely turned into a battle between the strongest cultivators in Eastern Wilderness. Regardless of whether it was the Holy Lord of Langya, the All-Cade Sacred Leader, the All-Heaven Sacred Leader, or the Azure Cloud Sacred Leader. The talents of these sacred lords when they were young could be said to be at the peak of talent. They were also once the pinnacle of their generation. Now they were also standing at the pinnacle of the martial god continent. They had become the sacred leaders of the seven sacred grounds, the true masters of everything. Every word and action of these four peerless existences could cause huge waves in the entire Eastern Wilderness. But now they had gathered at the All-Cade sacred ground because of a junior. They even wanted to make a big fuss. Since ancient times, such a thing had never happened before. No one had expected that an ordinary battle for the Holy Sun would escalate to such an extent. Once the battle between the four sacred leaders went out of control, it would be a catastrophe for the entire Eastern Wilderness. At this moment, everyone was silently watching this scene. No one was allowed to interrupt the conversation between the four sacred leaders. Jun Haoyin frowned slightly as he watched this scene. Jun Haoyin felt a little uncomfortable facing the three sacred leaders, but there was no trace of fear in his heart. When he had decided to kill the All-Cade Holy Sun, he had already expected this to happen. He did not have a trace of regret in his heart. If he could do it all over again, he would still kill the All-Cade Holy Sun. As if sensing Jun Haoyin's determination, Tao Xian turned around and looked at Jun Haoyin. Soon after, he nodded his head without leaving a trace. Then, he faced the three holy masters again and said, "Could it be that all of you want to suppress a junior together?" Dao Yan's tone carried a trace of indifference. Back then he and the three holy lords were competitors. Back then there was no clear winner or loser between them. At this moment, he was fearless in the face of the three holy masters. Jun Haoyin, the holy son of Langya, was able to kill four holy sons by himself. As the holy lord Langya, how could he be afraid of the three holy lands? Tao Xian, this person has committed such a huge crime. Are you still going to protect him? The all-heavens sacred leader stepped forward. His body was covered in a golden light, and his eyes would occasionally shoot out golden light. He looked at Jun Haoyan with a cold glint in his eyes. The holy son Zhuozhongtong had died in the hands of Jun Haoyan. This made him furious. Tao Xian, you have to think carefully. As the holy son, you have to be so arrogant. Sooner or later you will get into big trouble. The green cloud sacred leader also spoke with a hint of warning. At this moment the three holy masters were united. A powerful and peerless aura swept across the area. Countless people were in disbelief when they saw this. The holy son of Hao Tian's actions had actually made the three holy masters step in personally. Even if the holy son of Hao Tian was suppressed in the next moment, he would still be famous. Haha, what does the holy son of Langya have to do with you? Hearing this, Tao Xian laughed and said coldly. How could he not see that the three of them were obviously using this as a pretext to make a fuss? They wanted to take revenge for their fallen holy son. At the same time they wanted to get rid of the peerless genius Hao Tian, the holy son of Hao Tian. Although they were all holy sons, the Alcade holy son and the rest were easily killed by Hao Tian, the holy son of Hao Tian. Moreover, he had defeated the stronger Hao Tian as the weaker one. Such monstrous talent could only be called monstrous. The only one who could be compared to him was the holy son of Langya, Baiming Han, from 30,000 years ago. It was obvious that the three sacred masters were unwilling to see an existence like Baiming Han in the Langya sacred ground. No matter what you say today, I will not allow anyone to touch Hao Tian. He is the holy son of Langya and the only holy son. He will also be the only holy son in the future until he becomes the holy lord of Langya in the future. Tao Xian spoke forcefully in front of the three holy masters. If you want to suppress the future holy lord of Langya in front of me, you will have to ask for my permission. Since they had already torn off all pretenses, there was no need to be polite. The moment Dao Yan's words came out, it immediately intimidated everyone present. From Dao Profound's mouth, everyone obtained a shocking piece of news. The holy son of Hao Tian had already been chosen by the holy lord of Langya to be the next holy lord of Langya. What was a holy master? A holy master was the supreme existence of a holy land. He represented a holy land of the human race. Declaring war on a holy master was undoubtedly declaring war on a holy land. He would have to bear the wrath of a holy land. Therefore, when Tao Xian announced that the holy son of Hao Tian would be the next holy master of Langya, everyone was shocked. Everyone present was shocked. In order to protect the holy son of Hao Tian, the holy lord of Langya had actually made such a shocking decision. Even the Alcade holy master and the other two holy masters were shocked. If it was really as the holy lord of Langya had said, then the holy son of Hao Tian would be the next holy master of Langya. Now that they had taken action to suppress the holy son of Hao Tian, it was directly provoking a war between the holy lands. The consequences of a war between the holy lands would be extremely important. Blood would flow like a river and billions of lives would be annihilated. Tao Xian, is what you said true? The Alcade holy master spoke with a dangerous look in his eyes. You have to think about the consequences. We represent the three holy lands. The Azure Cloud Holy Master and the Daoyuo Holy Master also took a step forward. At this moment their expressions were extremely serious. They guessed that the Holy Lord of Langya had said those words to protect the holy son of Hao Tian. How could the Holy Master of a holy land be so easily decided? The three holy masters were certain that Tao Xian was right. It was not credible. No matter what, a heaven-defying existence like the holy son of Hao Tian must not be allowed to grow. He must not be allowed to live. So what if it's the three holy lands? Ever since the Lord of Langya established the Langya Holy Land 180,000 years ago, we have never been afraid of anything. Hao Tian is the holy son of the Langya Holy Land. Today I, Tao Xian, will protect him. Tao Xian spoke with a firm tone and did not back down. This sentence deeply shocked everyone present. When the three holy masters heard this, they immediately took a step forward as if they were going to attack in the next moment. Come on, if you want to fight, then come on. The Holy Lord of Langya, Tao Xian, took a step forward with an extraordinary aura. At this moment, a peerless painting scroll slowly appeared behind Tao Xian, containing the mountains, rivers, and earth. Boom. An extremely powerful force suppressed the universe as if a supreme being had walked out from the 9 heavens. At this moment, the heavens and earth were crying out in sorrow. Langya's mountain river painting. Tao Xian, are you crazy? You actually dared to use a supreme weapon. The three holy masters retreated in disbelief. Tao Xian wanted to protect the holy son of Hao Tian. He actually used a supreme weapon? Chapter 2. The powerful Tao Xian. A terrifying aura permeated between the heavens and the earth. At this moment, a painting scroll of mountains, rivers, and flowers slowly appeared behind Tao Xian. On top of it was a depiction of mountains and rivers, high mountains and flowing water, stars in the void, flowers and grass. It was as if there was an entire world inside. Seeing this painting, Jun Haoyan felt that it was somewhat familiar. Back then, when he fought during the Holy Sun's coronation ceremony, it was a painting scroll. It seemed to be similar to this mountain river painting. However, the only difference was that the power displayed by the mountain and river diagram was incomparably terrifying. The moment it appeared, a monstrous aura enveloped millions of miles of mountains and rivers. Under the sky, billions of living beings knelt on the ground, trembling. It was as if they were waiting for the supreme ruler's judgment. All the martial artists felt as if there was a mountain pressing down on their heads, making it difficult for them to breathe. Billions of mortals knelt on the ground, praying to the heavens for mercy. With such power, even the spectating experts were shocked. At this moment, the three holy masters looked at the Langya's mountain river painting behind Tao Xian, their expressions extremely solemn. These three people who stood at the peak of eastern wilderness could not help but retreat as they looked at the mountain river painting. They stared at Tao Xian, their eyes filled with disbelief. Using a supreme weapon? Was Tao Xian crazy? The power of a supreme weapon was enough to shatter the entire eastern wilderness. Was he really going to start a war in the human race's holy land? Looking at Tao Xian, the three holy masters did not dare to act rashly for fear of angering Tao Xian. Seeing this scene, even Jun Haoyan, who was standing behind Tao Xian, was stunned. Was his holy master so powerful and unyielding? That was a supreme weapon. Every supreme being could only create one supreme weapon in their lifetime. Every supreme weapon was like the reincarnation of a supreme being. What kind of existence was a supreme being? They stood at the peak of the entire martial god continent. Once they attacked, it would be earth-shattering and earth-shattering. At this moment, Tao Xian had taken out his supreme weapon. It was equivalent to starting a full-scale war. It would not stop until one of them died. Even Jun Haoyan did not expect this. The Holy Lord of Langya was willing to go to such an extent for him. Tao Xian, are you crazy? Do you know what you are doing? Stop, Tao Xian. Quickly put away your supreme weapon, or the consequences will be unimaginable. At this moment, the three holy masters tried to persuade Tao Xian. They were trying to stop Tao Xian's actions. He had used his supreme weapon without saying anything. Today they had finally witnessed the madness of the Holy Lord of Langya. Each of the 7 great holy lands of the human race had a supreme weapon that was used to suppress fate. However, facing Tao Xian's supreme weapon, they did not have the guts to take it out. There was no other reason. Once 2 supreme weapons met, they would lose control and fight uncontrollably. In a sense, a supreme weapon represented a supreme being. Every supreme being could be said to be invincible in the world. No supreme being would think that they were inferior to others. The supreme weapon, which was born with the will of a supreme being, would naturally think the same. Once 2 supreme weapons met, there would definitely be a victor. At that time they would have to pay a huge price to reseal the supreme weapon. Even the holy lands of the human race, which had a strong foundation, could not bear such a price. At this moment, seeing Tao Xian take out his supreme weapon without a care for anything else, the 3 holy masters were naturally extremely afraid. They were even a little afraid. The ancestors of the various holy lands had once said that they could not use their supreme weapons unless it was a matter of life and death. Since ancient times, the various holy lands had always followed this ancestral rule. Unless the holy lands were on the brink of destruction, they could not use their supreme weapons. It was also because of this ancestral rule that the 3 holy masters were so shocked by Tao Xian taking out his supreme weapon. If even the 3 holy masters were so shocked, the spectators were even more so. At this moment, everyone looked at Tao Xian with goosebumps on their scalps and cold sweat flowing down their backs. A supreme weapon's attack was unstoppable. If Tao Xian were to fight without a care for anything else, today, everyone present would die in the aftermath of the supreme weapon's attack. There were also many people who sighed with emotion. The holy son of Haoyan was not acting so arrogantly without a reason. Didn't they see how the Holy Lord of Langya was acting without a care for the consequences? When Tao Xian heard the 3 holy masters' words, he laughed softly. Everyone wants to kill the future holy master of the Langya holy lands. How can I not fight with my life on the line? Now I only want to say one thing. If the holy son of Hao Yin dies in the hands of someone of the same generation, I, Tao Xian, will not say a word. However, if some shameless people want to bully the young, then don't blame me, Tao Xian, for being merciless. I will come with the mountain and river painting of Langya to exterminate your family. In the void, Tao Xian spoke slowly, shocking countless people. His words had a deeper meaning. It was not only directed at the three holy masters, but also at the entire martial god continent. If that old man dared to touch the holy son of Hao Yin, Tao Xian would come with the mountain and river painting to pay him a visit. When they heard Tao Xian's words, many of the older generation martial artists were filled with emotions. They remembered clearly. When he was young, Tao Xian was a reasonable person. How did it become like this? It was really puzzling. Okay, Tao Xian, I promise you. This matter is over. However, you have to remember what you said. If the holy son of Hao Yin dies in the hands of someone of the same generation, don't go back on your words. The wavering light sacred leader said with a hint of warning. At this moment he could only compromise in the face of Tao Xian's craziness. Otherwise, what would he do? Fight with Tao Xian with a supreme weapon? This was the wavering light sacred ground. If they fought, the entire wavering light sacred ground would collapse. Although he was a sacred leader, he could not bear such a loss. In this case he could only take a step back. Of course. Hearing that, Tao Xian chuckled and then put away the mountain and river painting of Langya. At this moment, the area within a radius of close to 1,000,000 miles was relieved. The pressure of the supreme weapon instantly disappeared. Feeling the disappearance of the pressure, billions of living beings immediately heaved a sigh of relief. At this moment, Jun Haoyin looked at Tao Xian. He suddenly realized. There was a trace of sweat on the forehead of the Holy Lord of Langya. This was because no one had noticed the previous pressure of the supreme weapon. In fact, Jun Haoyin could even feel Tao Xian's slightly tense body. He had used the supreme weapon. Even the Holy Lord of Langya was afraid of it. This was what it meant to be calm on the surface. In fact, he was panicking internally? Jun Haoyin thought to himself. Haoyin, when we return to the sacred ground, I will punish you severely. Feeling Jun Haoyin's gaze, Tao Xian directly scolded Jun Haoyin. Quickly go back and bring the disciples of Langya back to the sacred ground. If anything happens to them, I will not forgive you. After saying that, the Holy Lord of Langya took a step forward and disappeared into the void. This disciple will follow the Holy Lord's orders. Jun Haoyin bowed and looked very relaxed. Although Tao Xian was scolding him. In fact, he could feel that the Holy Lord of Langya was protecting him. This was the true love of an elder for a junior. At this moment, Jun Haoyin suddenly felt a few murderous gazes. He turned his head slightly. Those murderous gazes. They were from the three holy lords. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, Three Holy Lords, this junior will take his leave. Looking at the three holy lords in front of him, Jun Haoyin said softly. His tone was very calm, without a trace of politeness or respect, as if he was talking to a passerby. He did not have the attitude of a junior talking to an elder. He also did not care about the supreme status of the three holy lords in front of him. At this point, even if they had become enemies, Jun Haoyin did not have to put on an act. Even if it was fake on the surface. When the Alcade Holy Lord heard Jun Haoyin's words, he narrowed his eyes slightly. Then a smile appeared on the Alcade Holy Lord's face. Ah, Haoyin, I hope you can continue to grow smoothly. The threat in his words was self-evident. However, his words obviously could not scare Jun Haoyin. After the Holy Lord Tao Xian created such a ruckus, which old man would dare to attack him so openly? That would be courting death. Ignoring the Alcade Holy Lord, Jun Haoyin did not plan to stay in the Alcade sacred ground. In the next moment he opened his flame wings and quickly left the Alcade sacred ground's territory. After Jun Haoyin left, the onlookers also left the Alcade sacred ground. To these people, too many things had happened today. Until now they still felt like they were in a dream. They sighed in their hearts. The eastern wilderness, which had always been peaceful, was stirred up by a young man. It was really shocking. In short, no matter what, the name Holy Son of Haoyin would not only spread throughout the eastern wilderness. Even all the major forces in the martial god continent would notice him. The name Haoyin would be completely known throughout the world. Jun Haoyin turned into a stream of light and quickly arrived outside the Xinyuan Supreme Being's ruins. The reason why he did not return to the Langya sacred ground directly was that Feng Xiaoyao and the other Langya disciples were still waiting for him. Behind him, the Jade Lake Saintess, Guyue Huang, followed him. Looking at Jun Haoyin's back, Gu Yuehuang did not speak for a long time. Her gaze was complicated. What had happened today was also incomparably shocking to her. In the Supreme Being's ruins, Gu Yuehuang knew that Jun Haoyan was very powerful. However, she had never imagined that Jun Haoyan's strength would be so strong. Greetings, Holy Sun. Greetings, Saintess. When Jun Haoyan and Gu Yuehuang appeared in the void outside the Supreme Being's ruins, the people from the Langya Sacred Ground and the Jade Lake Sacred Ground bowed one after another. At this moment, whether it was the people from the Langya Sacred Ground or the Jade Lake Sacred Ground, they all looked at Jun Haoyan with extreme admiration. Obviously, these people already knew about Jun Haoyan's deeds. He had chased the Alcade Holy Sun for 100,000 miles. In front of the Alcade Sacred Ground, in front of the Alcade Sacred Leader, he had directly killed the Alcade Holy Sun. Such a magnificent feat. When Feng Xiaoyao and the others heard this, they were extremely shocked. At this moment, the female disciples of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground were also looking at Jun Haoyan curiously. There was even admiration in some of the female disciples' eyes. Like the Linglong Sacred Ground, the Jade Lake Sacred Ground only accepted female disciples. The only saintess of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground was Gu Yuehuang. Holy Sun, we have searched for a long time, but we still can't find junior sister Jun. At this moment, Feng Xiaoyao, Bailey Xuanzi, Dugu Bo, and the others stood in front of Jun Haoyan, looking very disappointed. They blamed themselves in their hearts. Jun Moyo's disappearance was largely caused by them. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan immediately maintained his silence. Jun Haoyan learned from Feng Xiaoyao. After Jun Moyo had completely activated the power in her body, it was as if she had become a different person. With a casual point of her finger, she cut open the sky of the Supreme Being's ruins and disappeared instantly. As for where Jun Moyo was now, Jun Haoyan had no way of knowing. It seemed that if he wanted to get information about Jun Moyo, he would have to ask for Tao Xian's help. Although he didn't know where Jun Moyo was, Jun Haoyan was sure that Jun Moyo's life was not in danger. At this moment, he could still vaguely sense the mark in Jun Moyo's body. Although he couldn't sense the position of the mark, Jun Haoyan could guarantee that Jun Moyo was safe now. At this thought, Jun Haoyan decided to put this matter aside. Then he looked at Gu Yuehuang and said slowly, "Thank you for today's matter." Jun Haoyan was naturally referring to the people Gu Yuehuang had sent to take care of Bailey Xuanzi, Feng Xiaoyao, and the others. "It's my duty." Hearing this, Gu Yuehuang's face revealed a smile. As the top goddess of the Eastern Wilderness, this smile could be said to be a peerless sight. "The promise I made in the Supreme Ruins is still valid. If you need that item, you can come and find me at any time." As she spoke, Gu Yuehuang took out a jade talisman and handed it to Jun Haoyan. This jade talisman had a mark left behind by Gu Yuehuang. As long as he injected his true yuan, she would be able to sense it. "Alright, it's a deal." Hearing this, Jun Haoyan took the jade talisman and nodded with a smile. He naturally knew what Gu Yuehuang was referring to. It was none other than the 7 treasures Bodhi seed. Gu Yuehuang had always thought that she had benefited greatly by obtaining the 7 treasures Bodhi seed. But if she knew that there was a 7 treasures Bodhi tree in Jun Haoyan's body, how would she feel? "Then we'll take our leave first. See you again." Gu Yuehuang smiled and prepared to leave with the disciples of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. However, Jun Haoyan thought of something and asked again, "Have you heard of Ji Yunhan? She's from the Kunlun Sacred Ground." Ji Yunhan. Jun Haoyan was naturally asking about the Kunlun saintess who betrayed the Holy Son of Langya, Bai Minghan. Since he had already promised Bai Minghan to kill Ji Yunhan, Jun Haoyan naturally had to find out more information. However, after hearing this, Gu Yuehuang frowned slightly. She thought for a long time and then shook her head. "I don't know that there's someone with this name in the Kunlun Sacred Ground. However, the current Holy Son of Kunlun is called Ji Tianxing." Ji Tianxing? Ji Yunhan? Jun Haoyan lowered his head and pondered. "These two must be related." "Thank you," Jun Haoyan said, intending to find the answer himself. "By the way, Saintess, if you meet someone called Naylan Schwerer in the Jade Lake Sacred Ground, can you take care of her for me? She's my friend." Gu Yuehuang narrowed her eyes slightly. Of course, she had never heard of this name. However, Jun Haoyan asked her to take care of a female disciple. Could it be both of them? At this moment, Gu Yuehuang felt irritable for no reason. "Saintess, don't misunderstand. She's just an old friend," Jun Haoyan explained. "Okay, I promise you." Gu Yuehuang spoke and communicated with Jun Haoyan for a while. Then she left with the female disciples of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. "Holy Sun, what about us?" Feng Xiaoyao and the others stood behind Jun Haotian and asked slowly. The Xinyuan Supreme Being's ruins had been closed, and they were the only ones left. Let's go back to the Langya sacred ground. Jun Haotian said and made up his mind. Although the matter had been resolved now, there were still many things waiting for him to do. Whether it was Jun Moyo's whereabouts or his promise to Bai Ming Han, and the aftermath of killing the three Holy Sun. There were even the demon clan elites who were rumored to be on good terms with Xiang Holy Sun. He had to deal with all of them. However, all of these, Jun Haotian was fearless. No matter what he had to face, he only had one goal: to sweep away all enemies in front of him. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.